see history.
Hi, everybody. This is Jerry the King Lawler. That's right, WWE Hall of Famer.
This is Jeff Damon from Deadliest Wear on Spike TV. You have tuned in and are now live listening to the three-time NWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Scrapbound Adam Pearce, and just like you, I am also locked in. And brother, we are beyond ringside.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and holy hell, we made it to 2012. Greetings, good evening, how you doing, and welcome to Beyond Ringside. Yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane behind the control panel, in the vault, in the Full Range Entertainment Studios on this January 1st, 2012. Oh, good grief. Let's go right on into it. I'd like to welcome in tag team partners for the first broadcast of the year, Mark Mabo Bowman.
You know what? I don't give a crap about anybody's feelings, and you know what? My penis is hot, just listening to you three sexy studs off air.
Tag team partner, welcome in Brooks Logan.
January 1st, 2012. Feels no different than yesterday in 2011. Glad to still be here, though.
And tag team partner, the Wicked Nemesis.
Well, guys, this is how it goes down. Let's see how many resolutions, whether it's, not smoking, not cussing, not touching yourself. Let's see how many resolutions we can help break on the first day of the year. Let's do it.
If it involves not touching yourself, Mabo is, pardon expression, screwed right out of the starting blocks.
Actually, I broke it at...
I knew it!
I broke it up at 12:05 a.m.
I couldn't.
I broke all three of those about 12:02, so...
Well, let's see. I smoke. I did not drink. Didn't touch myself. Actually managed to get a cat nap earlier this afternoon, so I could actually recover. Before I go any further, I want to say a very special thank you. This is going to be so ill-timed, but you know something? That's just me sometimes. I had an absolute blast last night hosting over at, actually co-hosting, I should say, over at Lakeview United Methodist Church. I was hosting karaoke. Had a great time over there. Garrett Harbuck, the entire cast and crew over at Lakeview, made me feel, of course, at home. I'm a member over there, and we had a good turnout. We had a lot of fun, and we took it all the way to about 2 o'clock in the morning. Lo and behold, Mabo, how did you spend your? Hang on one second. Let me do this. Mabo, how'd you spend your New Year's Eve?
What'd I just tell you? Touching myself inappropriately and playing WWE 12. Not at the same time, though, because, they weren't my controllers, so I didn't want to get them sticky or anything.
Brooks, how did you spend your New Year's Eve?
Me and the old lady sat here at her house with a couple friends came over, and I put on a fireworks show. And that was about it. I feel like an old man.
Was your hot sister there?
She was not.
Dang, good, because you should have called me if she was there.
Yeah, you wouldn't have came over.
Wicked
Yes, I would have. I just wouldn't have found the place.
There you go. He can't find...
It's right down the street from where he works.
That would be a GMBS. So figure that one out. Wicked, how'd your New Year's Eve go?
Guys, how does most of my weekends go when I'm not at a show or at an event?
You're kickback,
I was
chilling
writing
out.
promos, going over wrestling business, coming up with different angles, doing things that to progress the business. Because some people are businessmen. I'm a businessman. I'm a business all to my own. Wicked Nemesis Enterprises. I was on the phone, text messaging different people trying to get bookings, texting people what I want from them. And that's a shoot. As you guys saw on my Twitter, my drink of the night was a Monster Java, or as Sean Banks called it, a Monster Hot Light Java color blend. And literally sitting here and writing for 3 or 4 hours about wrestling and what I want to do with certain angles, and how 2012 is going to be the greatest year, because 2012, something wicked this way comes. And, people talk about obstacles, going over obstacles. Those people can keep their obstacles, because I don't see obstacles, because I run those right over, okay? You got to run through them, over them. I don't go around them. That what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. You guys know this. We've heard it 1,000 times. 2012 is that year. It's starting off with a bang, starting with January, and I was literally sitting here with my pad that you guys know I have. Everybody's seen it. I'm synonymous with it. It's about to fall apart. Writing and calling and texting, coming up with storylines, coming up with angles, coming up with bookings, coming up with bookings for people, getting their stuff together, getting their information together. That's how it goes, ever evolving. And that's exactly what I did last night until 12 o'clock, and I went over my in-laws for an hour and a half, and then we listened to a Mexican band sing The World is Ending, which I thought was very appropriate. Right as the two earthquakes hit Japan, they're singing The World is Ending. I thought that was very, very appropriate, very.
I hate to do it, but I was sitting over here laughing because I'm watching the chat room. Wojo was just in there, Big Clyde, Daryl B, Matt Denton, all in the chat room so far this afternoon. Ustream.tv/channel/beyond-ringside-live. Thank you, Matt, for giving credit, because I saw you make the post in the chat room, and it was he admitted the fact he stole it right off my Twitter. Yeah, that doesn't kill me, just pisses me off, because I know I still got to pay the doctor bills. So. And yeah, Wicked, you and I are very synonymous when it comes to the factor of looking at obstacles, except for you worry about you go through them one way. I grab out a brick of C4 and blow that son of a buzzard up. That's my basic philosophy of it. Right.
That's how we should be.
Yeah. And I don't worry about going around, because going around would be too easy. I don't worry about going over. That requires too much effort. I go play it smart. I go get a brick of C4, I blow the sucker up, and I walk right on through.
And it's the simple fact that, Eddie, we know you can never get over anything. So.
Oh, he stole my thunder, because I was about to say the same thing. Eddie has never had to worry about going over.
Yeah.
Now,
when 4 starts to appear, Thunderspiller!
I have a question that I would like to ask everybody, and I'm going to turn it to the chat room, and I'm going to turn it to the 3 gentlemen that I co-host with. We talk recently on WWE television, and this is one that hit me on the way home from church. Everybody talk about sport. Everybody makes references to achievements in sports, milestones, records being set, records being broken, records being shattered. And the question that I want to pose to you will be like this. Ric Flair, I do believe, is a 10-time National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion. Harley Race was a 7-time, I do believe, NWA champion. John Cena recently captured, in the year 2011, his 10th WWE championship. They didn't clarify as to whether it was the E title or the E and the world title. They just said WWE championship.
It's the WWE title, I believe. Okay. I think he's only held the world. I don't know if he's ever held it at all.
Now, here's the question that I want to put to you. Remembering the fact that when Harley Race was NWA champion, he was based out of the Central States area, Bob Geigel promoter, and amongst the losses that he had, including Dusty Rhodes, who was based out of Championship Wrestling for Florida, Eddie Graham's territory, as well as the loss to Tommy Rich, who was based out of Georgia Championship Wrestling, Paul Jones, Annie Gunkel territory. So those were not Central States losses that he had with the world title. Ric Flair, one of his title losses was to David Von Erich, and Rick was based out of the Mid-Atlantic area, Jim Crockett Promotions, and Atlanta, Georgia, Jim Crockett Promotions. One of the title losses was to David Von Erich, based out of World Class, an NWA member territory, however not Flair's home territory. Considering the factor, and I know that I'm going to get the flack about WWE being a self-enclosed entity and the fact that Race and Flair held their titles during the territory era, do we put an asterisk next to John Cena's name, 10-time WWE champion, based on the fact that these championships were held inside of a singular promotion, inside of a singular core talent base, and you really can't classify it anything other than a company title, like Employee of the Month, which that's what the WWE title is turned into, in my opinion. He's Employee of the Month, we'll give him the belt. I open up the table. Should that asterisk be there? Yes or no? Wicked Nemesis. 1 minute.
Absolutely, 100% not. For the simple fact of what do you do when you put a title on someone? Let's talk about that for 1 second.
Pray to God they can get over.
A title on someone, what are you doing?
You're either applauding them for their success that they've had, or you're praying to God they can continue to get over.
You are putting them as the face of your company. In other words, you know that they can sell enough tickets and put enough asses in seats that it means something to your company to make your company money. It's the same way when Race held it. It's the same way whenever Flair held it. Same way when Steamboat held it. When Big Show held it. When Luger held it. Hell, they count some of those victories whenever they were WCW champions. Okay, that wasn't all enclosed. Cena's right there with them because that means they have enough faith in Cena. They feel like he can put asses in the seats to be the face of the company. That's all it amounts to. I hate to tell you all this, but the world title and all these titles, listen to me, people. Listen to everybody. It's a work. It's a work. Okay? That's all it is. If you think because they put the title on you that I'm the greatest wrestler of all time,
no, you're not.
Bull crap. I tell you what, you spend 2.5 minutes alone with Orion Bishop, then you tell me, and that goes for any single entity out there. Just because you hold a title doesn't mean that you're the best of that company. That means that somebody has enough faith in you to put asses in the seats. It's all a work. Bubble Bust 2012.
Bubble Buzz 2012. Brooks Logan, come on in. Yay or nay?
No way would you put an asterisk beside it, because the way I look at it is what Cena has done with the WWE being the only game in town, and him getting the belt put on him 10 times, in my opinion, is something harder. That's a harder feat to accomplish than what Race and what Flair and them did, because Cena is in the major leagues of pro wrestling, the best of the best. That's who's in WWE for the most part. That's the top tier guys. And 10 times John Cena has had the faith put in him to put the belt on him, and for him to be as that prominent for that long says something. It says that he's the best of the. He might not, like Wick said, not be the best wrestler, but to be the guy that puts asses in the seats makes you the best of that company. Makes you the best pro wrestler. May not make him the best technical wrestler or the best in-ring guy or whatever, but it does make him the best pro wrestler in WWE. And with WWE being the only game in town, I think that's an outstanding accomplishment.
Mark Mabo Bowman.
Well, first of all, Cena has held the WWE title 10 times and the World Heavyweight Championship twice. Just to clarify that. Should there be an asterisk? Yes. I say for this, but with sort of an addendum to it. It's a great accomplishment in the WWE. Yes, right now the WWE has been, it is the top of the game. It has been since, they won the Monday Night Wars, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
If not longer, it seems. But when's the last time someone in the WWE has defended and proved themselves outside of the WWE and defended that title?
Hulk Hogan in Japan.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So to say that he is truly a world's champion who deserves to be considered a world's champion so many times, then no, you can't really say that. Bottom line, back when it was the NWA, the board voted.
Right.
We put our faith behind not only our faith, but the whole NWA as a whole, not just one company, not just one group federation. We're putting the NWA as a whole. We're putting our faith behind this one person to put the belt on them to represent an entire entity, and then let's send them around the world. Mexico, Japan, the United Kingdom,
correct,
Canada, all these other places, and defend it there, and not just against the company, not just the company that they came from. You know, not just those guys that they clawed and fought and scratched their way to the top from, but against other representatives from the groups within the NWA. You know, let's send them over here and fight dude over here, fight dude over here. And although, you know, like you had companies like AAA and CMLL and all that in Mexico, and same thing with All Japan, New Japan over in Japan, even though they weren't straight up NWA affiliates, they still had their ties and everything. So let's see if our guy stacks up against their best guy. You can't do that right now. You can't put Cena or, you know, whomever against top guy in Japan, top guy in Mexico, because WWE's not going to do that.
But with that said, and those are all good points, but you can't hold that against John Cena.
Well, I'm not holding them against John Cena, but I'm saying anybody, and I mean, this really, honestly, this goes from anybody. This is not just John Cena, but this even, God forbid, I hate to say it, against CM Punk, against, you know, Taker, against Triple H, since the WWE or WWF at the time became an entity unto itself and severed all ties with other companies as far as defending their main title, or any of their titles really, worldwide against the best of the rest, then none of those should be considered legitimate. You could say it was a world champion, but they're not truly a world champion. But that's nobody's fault. But that's nobody's fault. But those who, the dissolution of the territory leagues.
Or the territories. There is a territory league out on the West Coast right now.
Yeah.
No.
One thing I want to say really quick, the reason why that doesn't happen is because if you were to take somebody like Cena, hell, even CM Punk or Ziggler, one of these guys is just a wrestler, and were to put them over in another champion or in another, let's say, Australia, well, they would bring out their best guy, their best wrestler, and he would tear them apart. Because then what it was is then they would then say, well, I'm the world champion, I'm the WWE champion. Then you have to integrate that guy into your system because he just beat your champion. If not, you would put the belts on William Regal, Daniel Bryan, and Big Show, and then send those guys over there because those are the only ones that nobody can legitimately beat. Those three are the best. I'm sorry, the Big Show. If you put the belt on the Big Show and you put the Big Show, and I don't give a crap where, the Big Show would be the one guy, and William Regal, and for that matter, Daniel Bryan, and I could say that you could put a title on, put them in any territory, and I guarantee you nobody's taking the belt off of them. You say what you want to about the Big Show. The man is the only man to ever hold every heavyweight championship there is besides the AWA. He held WCW,
yep,
WWE,
yep,
the World, and everything else he possibly could. The ECW.
He has held ECW, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the man's done that. He's the only person to do it. That title reign lasted just seconds because Daniel Bryan cashed him in. The Big Show would knock somebody out for real. Forget that big punch that he's not. He is a guy. He would knock the crap out of somebody, and that's the only type of people that you'd be able to send over to there. That's the reason why, because nobody would be able to just have a good wrestling match. They would put some shooter or some hooker in there to legitimately harm and steal the title, because that used to happen in the NWA.
Yep.
That's another reason why you don't have real wrestlers defending the title, such as Nick Bockwinkel, Ric Flair, Harley Race, because those are the type of guys that you could put the title on and put them over there, and when they put their best guy, if they happen to put a shooter in there, those guys could hold their own. That's why you had the champions you did at the time. But those guys were also the badasses. Those are the ones that people wanted to wrestle. And if you notice, a lot of times when the heels would come, Nick Bockwinkel defended the title for like 13 years everywhere. It's because the man was a hooker. He could do what he wanted to in the ring to anybody.
Yep.
And if he felt like that your local champion was good enough, he would do the old Adam Pearce thing. Drop it. And Adam Pearce, I'll give it to him. The man defends the NWA title everywhere he goes.
I was going there next.
But it's the same finish. The local hero, the ref takes a bump, local hero gets the 1, 2, 3 to say, oh, or he gets the 1, 2, 3, and then it's like, no, reverse decision, something happened. And I understand that. But the reason why WWE can't do this is because they would end up losing the title legitimately because somebody would hurt them and steal the title for real.
Okay, lunch pail note and question. Bigger accomplishment in this day and time, John Cena winning his 10th or Scrap Iron Adam Pearce winning his 4th NWA Championship. Don't have to say why. Which one's better? Mabo.
Now, are we talking amongst the average fan or amongst people in the industry? Or
personal note, your personal concept.
My personal concept?
Yep.
I'm gonna say Adam Pearce winning his fourth, because that means the NWA as a whole decided that Scrap Iron Adam Pearce was the best face for their company and the best man to go out there and represent them in the various companies that are affiliated with the NWA. Cena winning a 10th one, you know, that's like saying, is it a bigger accomplishment that Triple H will eventually win his, 13th or 14th or 15th one?
Right.
To just cement his legacy. So, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything, you know, John Cena, you know, congratulations, but it seems like, you know, sometimes when WWE can't legitimately find somebody to put the belt on to try to be the new face of the company, they toss it on Cena.
Like they used to do Hogan.
Exactly.
Brooks Logan, your perspective. Which one's bigger? Pearce in the 4th, Cena in the 10th.
Well, I take nothing away from what Adam Pearce has done, by no means. But with Cena, and like Mabel said, it's not just 10, it's 12 championships that he's held. And, yeah, like Mabel said, if they can't find a face, they throw it on him. They did the same thing with Hogan. But what impresses me with Cena having 12 titles is the fact that he's been able to maintain that persona for that long and that many times. And in the wrestling industry, as cutthroat as it is,
yep,
it's 100 times worse at WWE. You slip up and you're on Vince's bad side, you're gone. John Cena has been able to maintain the fact that he puts people in the seat, he sells his merchandise. He's a pretty damn good wrestler and has held the belt 12 times. That's impressive to me, and I'm not taking nothing away from what Adam Pearce has done, because what he did, that's special too. 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, whatever. But with Cena maintaining that level for that long is up there with Triple H doing it, and the other guy, Taker, doing it. The guys that have been there and have maintained that's impressive to me, just because of how cutthroat this business is.
Okay, Wicked Nemesis.
Less than a decade Cena has been in the WWE. The man built his way to the top on a white rapper gimmick, made money, sold millions and millions of tickets, equating almost probably 100 million, maybe even $1 billion for Vince McMahon during one of the greatest recessions and a damn near depression in the United States of America. The man sold shirts more than anybody and more seats. People booed him as loud as they cheered him. But you're asking me to go up against the most prestigious wrestling organization the world has ever seen, the National Wrestling Alliance. The NWA is a company that still means something to a lot of people.
Thank you.
John Cena is the greatest sports entertainer ever. Forget Hogan. It was Cena. Cena did things that Hogan only wished he could do in such a short period of time. And Hogan used politics to keep people down like Macho Man, to keep people like Piper down, to keep people like Jake the Snake where he was. Adam Pearce takes that title to every freaking town that can afford him, because that title means something.
Of course.
And he defends it. He defends it against people like Ace Hazen. He defends it against people like Kyle Matthews.
Thank you.
He defends it against people like Colt Cabana.
93 times.
He defends it against real wrestlers, what we call workers, because there's a difference. The National Wrestling Alliance, those world championships mean they are defended across the entire freaking world.
So you're giving the nod to Pearce.
I just did that big build up. You son of a... Yes, of course to Pierce.
Now, wait a minute. I figured you would do the same thing that Lee Corso did when it came to the Alabama-LSU game. You give the big build-up to Alabama, and then all of a sudden swerve to LSU. I was waiting on the swerve. Knowing you, I was waiting on the swerve.
Oh, I can't. You're asking me to pick against the National Wrestling Alliance, and I can't do that. I would be disowned by several people if I even thought about that, and I wouldn't, because there's two titles. Now, there are two titles I always wanted to manage against: the WWE Championship and the National Wrestling Alliance Champion, a world champion of some kind.
And
those have always been two dreams of mine. The NWA still means something.
And without going into it, you know that I managed to accomplish one of my dreams this past year, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. But we're looking at situations in place. Cena versus Pierce. Cena 10 versus Pierce 4. To have been put the belt on in one company, singular entity company, 10 times is a tremendous accomplishment. No, there should not be an asterisk there. I put that one out there for sheer speculation on everybody's part. But it did seem like, and it still seems like a legitimate question that people who have a clue would ask. Should there be an asterisk there? Will the historians look back over time and say, well, that wasn't done in the territory era, so guess what? That was done in one company, under one roof, under one owner. Guess what? Click. Okay, yeah, we'll put an asterisk there. However, as Wicked elaborated, and I think I think all the crew has said, and I'm going to expatiate on this. The National Wrestling Alliance, the oldest and largest governing body in professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, but pro wrestling, known the world over, wrestling for the people. To have the main strap, Sweet Charlotte, the 10 pounds of gold, whatever you want to call it, placed over your shoulder, in your hands, around your waist, on your desk, whatever you want to say, is, in my book, a higher accomplishment. Because as Wicked just laid out there, one weekend Pierce can be in NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood defending against Joey Ryan or Colt Cabana. He could be at NWA Houston defending against Lance Hoyt. He could be at NWA Pro South and defending against Ace Haven, or Rampage Pro Wrestling out of Warner Robins, Georgia, defending against Kyle Matthews. Those are 4 different people from 4 different areas who have 4 different backgrounds in this business and experience levels. So to be able to step up to those challenges, not just on a Monday night or a Thursday night or a Friday night or a Saturday night house show, but to do that almost every night of the week that he has booked, to defend that championship, to me is a bigger accomplishment to have that 4th one come to you than it is for Cena in a singular company to have it 10 times. With all due respect, I know I'm going to catch flack for that, but you know something? I don't get paid by any organization other than one in particular, and I'll cover that during the 7 o'clock hour, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. We are going to go to the top of the hour break from this point. When we come back, we are scheduled to be joined by Leanne Engel and Angie Davis from the Alabama Championship Wrestling Organization, and we will be back on the initial episode of 2012. This is Beyond Ringside.
Hey everyone, my name is Bryce Remsburg. I'm the Chikara Senior Official, and wherever I am in the world, be it on the phone or the internet, there's no place I'd rather be than locked in to Beyond Ringside.
8. I deliver your Sunday paper every week.
7. We work on the same floor.
1 in 8 Americans is struggling with hunger.
6. Our kids walk to school together every day,
including millions of children and seniors.
5. We chat in the elevator at work sometimes.
4. I'm your cashier at the grocery store.
Who's the 1 in 8 in your life that needs help? You can make a difference through Feeding America at feedingamerica.org/1in8. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Yo, what's up? It's Coolio with the Flow, a.k.a. the Ghetto Gourmet, and you locked in to Beyond Ringside. Ding, ding!
Most days go by without a whole lot of surprises. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life, as you know it, has completely turned on its head? Would you be prepared? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Hello everybody, this is Dirty Dutch Mantel, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside. The odds of becoming a signed artist and having 3 #1 albums? 1 in 100 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of this performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
This is Ben Masters locking it down with Beyond Ringside. Don't miss it. Be there.
Hi, I'm Ryan Seacrest for RAD. Over 300 people in this country are killed every week by a drunk driver. That's the equivalent of 2 747 plane crashes every single week. And the problem isn't going away unless we all do our part to stop it. So if you see someone who's about to drive after drinking, get the keys. Don't leave it up to anyone else. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Bob Allen, co-author of Gordon Soley's Something Left Behind and the Soley Chronicles, and I'm locked into Beyond Ringside.
Hi, this is Ozzy Osbourne. For many years, you know, I've had a drink problem, and I'm trying to battle that problem every single day. But one thing I don't do, I don't drive my car when I'm drinking. I get someone to drive me. Do not drink and drive. It's the stupidest thing. If you drink, just don't drive. Not only are you going to hurt yourself, you may hurt some other person, and you wouldn't want that on your conscience, would you?
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Dan the B7, the only Triple Crown champion in the UFC history, and you're listening to Beyond Ringside. You better pay attention, otherwise I know where you live.
Let me try.
Okay, just remember what I showed you.
Yep, there was a bunny who had one big ear and another big ear. They looped-a-looped, made a bow, and the bunny hopped away. I did it!
Oh, good job, kiddo. Now let's tie your other shoe.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Angel Orsini.
This is the Human Hand Grenade, Danny Only.
This is Dirty Dutch Mantel.
This is Liz Savage.
This is Vinny O'Brien, 2010 Golden Glove champion. This is Gabe Sapolsky from Dragon Gate USA and Evolve Pro Wrestling, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Welcome to the original Rock and Wrestling Radio Show. Welcome to Beyond Ringside, your source for wrestling, MMA, and boxing in the Southeast. To contact the Ringside Roundtable of Beyond Ringside, email them at beyondringside@gmail.com. And now, your host for Beyond Ringside, the man, no myth, all legend, Fast Eddie Lane.
Live from the vault in the Full Range Entertainment Studios in Birmingham, Alabama, this is Beyond Ringside. Thank you to Mike Macaroni, the cheesiest announcer in the business. Always a pleasure to hear your voice on this first installment of 2012. Happy New Year to everybody around the world. Let's hope it's a great one. We're doing our part. Fast Eddie Lane behind the control panel, welcoming in tag team partners, the Wicked Nemesis.
Yes, it's time. It's 2012. It's the end of the world
as we know it. And I feel fine. Brooks Logan, come on in.
Well, I'm excited for this next segment because it's a brand new year and it may be the last one ever. And I hope to go out being in attendance of a breath of fresh air and pro wrestling in the state of Alabama.
Mark Mabo Bowman, how you doing?
I just teabagged your pancakes, Eddie. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Boom!
Thank you, Mrs. Butterworth. And like to welcome in a very special guest at this time, representing Alabama Championship Wrestling, Leanne Engel. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, guys. How are y'all?
It's been a great year so far. Of course, I'm only approximately 14 hours coherent into it. 2 hours sleep will do that to somebody.
It will, every time.
It really will. Now, you have got an event coming up this coming Saturday night in our home market of Alabama, up in the Carbon Hill area, right?
I do. We've got Alabama Championship Wrestling coming to Carbon Hill. We're going to be at the Carbon Hill Community Center January 7th. Our door time is going to open up at 7 p.m. Our bell time is at 8 p.m. We've got a great show lined up.
Hey, Wicked Nemesis, come on over.
Well, actually, let's start from the beginning. How did ACW start off? What were the origins of Alabama Championship Wrestling?
ACW started actually with my brother. My brother was good friends with a man named Kenny Valentine, who was a wrestler who wrestled with the infamous Mike Jackson. And Mike and Kenny had done several shows together, and my brother had started into the wrestling with him, and Kenny was killed. And my brother had contacted Mike about Kenny getting killed, just informing him of that. And from there, a friendship grew, and on Thanksgiving 2010, ACW come about, and we had our first show here in Carbon Hill, which is our hometown. This is where we're from. And I got into wrestling with my brother. It was a family event, and it just grew from there.
Okay, so after, this happened, did you decide that, hey, we're going to start bringing in more guys? Did people start to come to you? Did you get them through Mike Jackson? Because I know Mike Jackson is synonymous with bringing in guys that he likes. Is that how the talent roster kind of come to be about?
Well, we had a big problem with Mike Jackson booking with us. Mike had issues booking with anybody that would draw more than him, that would go over more than him. The last show that we done with Mike Jackson was in November of last year. We had in Demolition Axe Bill Eadie, who is, of course, a wonderful, wonderful man. Mike Jackson just belated this man to the point that he left before our show was over. He never talked to anybody, never said anything, just specifically left the building before we even knew he was gone. It was at that point that I said I was done working with Mike Jackson. He was not bringing in the talent we needed. He was definitely not helping ACW to grow to where we need to go. We're talking over a year in business here. We should be so much further than what we are now. And it was either Mike Jackson go or I was to go. So that was a hands down. Of course, Mike Jackson went. And so now we're trying to take ACW to the next step and make this a wrestling company that it needs to be.
Okay, now you and I met at the last show. Describe to us, because there have been several, several different points of view of how the last show went. If you will give us a date on the show, because it kind of slips in my mind, and I apologize. Tell us how that show went.
Okay, the last show was in Double Springs, Alabama. We run Carbon Hill Jackson, Double Springs. It was December 10th, of course, 2011. After getting rid of Mike Jackson, I was working with a new booker that did not go over well. I don't know if there was just a lot of miscommunications there or what, but the show was booked. My booker didn't show up. Things went bad, terribly bad. We had the Necro Butcher, who was booked to come, who didn't show up. Danny Horn, we had Damon Taz, Joey Sartain, the Gentlemen's Club, Danny Demon Master Sims, Antonio Garza. We had the Congolese Nightmare, Big Clyde, Michael Hirsch, and Joey Kidman. Fairly good lineup. But like I said, the show went bad, very bad. And like I said, we're taking it as a hard lesson learned and growing from there and moving on.
Now this upcoming show. You've had a month to regroup,
yes,
kind of to get your bearings back together. If you will, tell us about some of the guys that are on this show. For those that haven't seen it on Twitter and seen the repost by Damon Taz and Joey Sartain and myself and Angie Davis, tell us, if you will, about some of those guys.
Okay, we've got the California Beach Boy coming back. It's been probably a year or so since ACW has had him here. We've got Pretty Boy Floyd. We've got our tag team champions Damon Taz and Joey Sartain coming back, going against Johnny Slaughter and Yoshira. We have Cody Wyndham versus the Iceman. We have Big Clyde against Plain White Trash. We've got Skidmark against Chris Knox.
Wow, I'm sorry, I was just listening to some of the names that were going out there. Did you say the Plain White Keys? The Plain White Keys, is that what you said?
No, the Plain White Trash.
Oh, the Plain White Trash. Oh, I apologize. They kind of...
Yeah, I didn't name them.
Obviously, I hope not. We don't want to call him like Garbage Heap or anything, but that name just kind of stuck out in my mind a little bit.
Hold on. That name stuck out in Skidmark, didn't it?
Exactly.
My next one. That was my next one. My next topic was Skidmark.
No, wait. I have to do this. Wicked, tell the truth. The reason why you thought it was Plain White Tees is because you were having flashbacks to that night in the karaoke bar.
Lord have mercy, that is the lineup. Now I noticed that you have some matchups. If we can just take 1 second before I open up the table. I was looking at Joey Sartain and Damon Taz usually don't tag together, but they are your tag team champions, correct?
That's correct. They usually don't tag team together.
Have they tagged any time there at your show before? Is this the first time where the belts just kind of handed to them, or did they win the titles against someone?
No, they have tag team for us before. Like I said, they don't tag team together. They are not a tag team group. They did go against the Gentlemen's Club last month in Double Springs and won over from them. And so that's how they have got our tag team titles. And so they're on the line right now again. And we're just going to go from there.
What is recognized as your heavyweight title? Which title would that be?
The Southern Heavyweight title. It's our ACW title.
Okay, and that is what is the name of that? What's that guy's name against Pretty Boy Floyd? Because Pretty Boy Floyd is pretty well known. What's the other name?
He's the California Beach Boy.
Oh, a lot of him is Scott Fantastic or Scotty Blaze or Scott White. Everybody knows he's done stuff with Deep South and a hell of a talent. Seems like a pretty decent lineup. Now I want to open the floor really quick if you don't mind. Any questions to Leanne?
Well, yeah, first of all, there's nothing wrong with the name Skidmark. That's my grandmother's nickname. It's a family nickname. So I don't want you guys, saying it's unusual or anything, so just calm down with that. But, Leanne, let me ask you something. I want you to take the top 3 talents in your company right now. All right, you got them in mind? Got them in mind. All right, keep them in mind. And I want you to equate them, each one, to a deli sandwich, and tell me who would be what.
Good one.
That's a serious it's a serious question.
Good one.
Okay. All 3 together on one sandwich, or
no, each one is a different sandwich. Each one's a different sandwich. It's got to be a deli sandwich. Don't sit there and say peanut butter and jelly or whatever. Deli sandwich. Go.
Oh no, all of my guys are more than just peanut butter and jelly. I mean, each and every one of them would be a hero. Definitely.
Well, which one's going to be what? Come on.
Now, see, I don't think I should go and individualize each and every one of them, because if one of them is put up a little bit more than the other one, they might get mad. And I can't pick and choose favorites.
Well, that's pro wrestling, Boo-hoo.
It is, but it's not professional with me picking and choosing on the radio.
Well, see, let me go ahead and elaborate on that. I'm going to jump in for a hot second because you can look at Damon Taz and say that he would be the Firehouse hero, number 9, fully involved. You could look possibly say what? Who jumped in?
Eddie, what the hell are you talking about? Let her answer.
No, I mean I was just giving a relative example.
This lady lives in Alabama. I'm sure she's had her fair share of sandwiches. And Damon Taz. Why do we always talk about Damon Taz? What about Johnny Slaughter?
Johnny Slaughter would be the meatball.
So you just, Leanne, answer the question. We're holding your feet to the flames. Team the deli sandwiches. Choose your top 3. Go.
I don't really eat deli sandwiches. I'll just be honest with you.
She ain't been to Subway in a long time.
That's right. I don't go to Subway.
Damon Taz, I guess, on his new diet kick, he can be the all veggie sub.
Lord have mercy.
Okay.
So she's a vegetarian. She doesn't like meat, but she sure likes the bone. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Oh, I'm not going there.
Mabo, can you change it to something else, like chocolate or something that all women love?
Snack candy. Candy bars. Bev nerd it.
Okay, fine. Take your top 3 and equate them to your favorite flavor of ice cream.
I like candy bars better.
Here, I'll start you off. The Gentleman's Club, they are sexual chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
I heard
so
crickets.
You normally look at all the guys sexually like that? I mean, I'm just saying.
Damon Taz is vanilla.
Yeah.
With some green in it.
Damon would be more like Rocky Road.
Uh-oh, Rocky Road, I knew it. I knew that was coming. What about Johnny Slaughter? What about Slaughter?
I don't know what, maybe Oreos.
Wait, what?
Well, would the California Beach Boy be Tutti Frutti? I don't know.
What about Big Quad?
Oh, no, that's definitely Tutti Frutti.
What about, let's see, what's this, Plain White Trash?
See, I don't know Plain White Trash that well, so I don't know that I could label him.
What about myself, since I am on the card?
Oh, yeah.
Although I didn't see that my name was on the card, it's just, I will be with Johnny Slaughter, as everyone knows. So there's nothing, nothing hiding there. But answer the question. Let me call Perry Mason in.
Matlock.
Yeah, Matlock. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. You would probably be something definitely with nuts in it.
Pralines and...
Don't say it.
That's the obvious one.
Don't say it. we move on.
Leanne.
We could toss to Brooks.
Someone get this on track.
Brooks, it's on you. Come on in.
Brooks, you don't come on in. We're good.
Wow. I hope you don't say that. Hope you don't say that to me and the crew at the show. What kind of ice cream would Mike Jackson? No.
He would be the kind that you find in the very back of the freezer that's all molded and frostbitten and that's not worth throwing out.
Been there for 30 years, sitting there doing the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
Stealing all the flavor from the other food in there.
Taking up space that doesn't need space.
I'll fix that in post. We move on.
Oh, gee. See, too much censorship going on around here. Like I said at the beginning of the segment, ACW, and I'm just now getting acquainted with ACW. I just pretty much found out about them, and I'm very excited for the 7th of January to come around. Big time show. Can't wait to be in Carbon Hill. Hope to bring a whole lot of people and have a whole lot of good time. It's a breath of fresh air to see somebody new doing something new in this area. It's long overdue. I know you've taken some lumps here lately. You've things hadn't gone quite your way, and just want to tell you to hang in there and don't give up, because I'm pretty sure with the stuff you probably had to deal with, you probably just wanted to give this stuff all together. I had the unfortunate pleasure of having to book a show for a tornado relief effort, and it almost ruined me from the sport of wrestling. So I just want to tell you to hang in there and keep your head up. Don't give up. If this is what you like to do, then keep doing it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Wrestling is definitely something I like to be involved in. I definitely love it. We've got some great guys that come out and work with us. I have met some fantastic people. I have met some not so fantastic people, but yes, definitely want to bring something new to the show and, bring something different to wrestling in this area and try to wean out some of those that are bringing a bad name to the sport.
Okay, really quick, Eddie.
That would be me.
Is there any way that you're going to work in the Ohio State Fairgrounds show?
No.
Let me know now.
No, but I do understand that there is going to be a very special autograph signing party at the Jasper Mall Friday, January the 6th, 4 p.m. until 8 with the Stars of Alabama Championship Wrestling. Right, Leanne?
That's absolutely correct. And again, Saturday. We'll be back there Saturday selling tickets, selling advance tickets for the show, and signing autographs that day also.
Okay. Now, are you going to have all the stars of ACW coming out on both days, or are you going to have different stars on different days, or have you already gotten that far?
Well, we're waiting still to hear back from a few. We know Big Clyde is going to be there Friday and Saturday both. We hope to have some different ones out there Saturday. But like I said, we're still waiting, of course, to confirm on schedule and everything. So we hope to have that posted.
Okay. Now, the ticket prices for the event are going to be what?
Advance tickets are $8. If you purchase them at the door, they're $10. Children 5 and under are free.
Okay. Now, how can people get tickets in advance?
You can either purchase them by reserving them online on Facebook at our Alabama Championship Wrestling page, or you can get in contact with Big Clyde at 205-388-5925. You can get in touch with Angie Davis at 205-471-9040. Or you can get in touch with me at 205-300-5196.
Wicked Nemesis, come on back.
Man, I cannot believe you just put your numbers out there. That is fantastic. Okay, that is hilarious. I'm sorry. I've seen this happen before, and it never goes good. But
yeah, it probably won't.
A lot of people don't know. You're talking to three of the guys that are the most integral part of stuff that goes on in the state of Alabama. Mabo used to put all the shows. Eddie is the greatest announcer, and Brooks brings the thunder. Now, you have my word, Brooks. There was some uneasiness, that there may be some problems at the show with some rowdy fans, those hooligans you hang out with that like to do tornado benefits, and do stuff that hooligans like to do. But it will be civil, am I correct? Because I hope you all get drunk beforehand. Well, let's not say that,
Afterwards.
Do not drink and drive. But
you must spill your drink.
But, Brooks, am I correct? You guys are not going to start fist fighting?
Absolutely not. Most of the guys that will probably be coming with me, and Whit can attest to this, were at the show, and Eddie can attest to this too. We're at the show that we put on, and only one minor fight broke out. This was in a backyard with 6-7 kegs of beer. These guys are just intense wrestling fans who have been waiting on something new, just like myself. Been waiting on something new to come up that we can go have a good time at. You have my word that we will be on our P's and Q's when we get there. I don't like to put myself out there like that and take responsibility for everybody that's going to be there. But I can almost 100% guarantee you that you have nothing to worry about with this crew that's coming. We're just there to see good wrestling. So, like Wick said, we will be on our best behavior. Like I said on off the air, the stuff that you saw in the chat room is not going to be
prevalent.
Exactly to what the crew that's going to actually be there. It's not going to be the same type of thing. We are going to get loud. I can go ahead and tell you I'm going to get very loud. But that's about all I can do. I'll be yelling, and as with most other guys that are going to be there, we're going to be there to be loud fans, be loud, and we are rowdy, but it's not going to be out of control rowdiness.
Mabo.
Yeah. You gonna have like any chicks on your shows, like eventually, like to wrestle and stuff? And are they gonna be hot? And will there be pudding involved?
Yes, we're planning on to have women in our shows. The pudding, that's kind of iffy. You know, I don't want to have to clean that up afterwards. If you're willing to come clean it up, we can check into pudding.
Oh, you don't know what you just opened up.
Trust me, I am very good at cleaning up. Actually, I work part-time at a groomer's, and I am really good at bathing cats. I learned from Arn Anderson, cat bath master.
Okay.
Eddie.
Yes?
Say something, please.
Okay. Now, in all sincerity, you got some great matches lined up. And you're going to be filling the vacant Southern Heavyweight Championship this coming Saturday night, January the 7th in Carbon Hill, Alabama. Hang on, let me spin back over to monitor number 4. Because I didn't know I'd need my notes back. Folks, real quick, it's going to be at the Carbon Hill Community Center, 229 Northwest 2nd Street in Carbon Hill, Alabama. Doors are going to open at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Bell time is going to be 8 o'clock p.m., give or take 5 minutes. This is a pro wrestling show of which we speak. Remember, as earlier stated, on Saturday, Jan 7, you've also got a double shot, so to speak, because a lot of the stars of ACW are going to be appearing at a very special autograph signing at the Jasper Mall, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Talent's going to be rotating in and out throughout the day. Now, of course, everybody, a lot of people already know how to find you personally on this wonderful thing called Facebook. Give us an idea where you can track everybody down, or Alabama Championship Wrestling down on the social networks: Twitter, Facebook.com, LinkedIn.
Well, we are personally on Facebook, and a lot of our guys are on Facebook too. Just go up there and type in their names. I know there's some on Twitter. Their actual addresses, I really don't know. Sorry.
I know your friend Angie's on Twitter. I just found her the other day.
Yeah, Angie's on Twitter.
Run. See, no, here's the thing that I tell everybody. When it comes to the social networks, Facebook, a lot of people have a tendency to maintain a level of decorum. Twitter, I tell people, if you're going to follow me at Fast Eddie Lane, follow at your own risk. Same thing that Wicked Nemesis, Brooks Logan, and Mark Bowman always say. Now, I'm gonna take the focus away from the company and bring it to you personally. You made the reference to having been a wrestling fan for a certain period, especially when it was a family thing. How far do you go back being a fan, in particular, of professional wrestling? I mean, does it go back before the family, or does it start there?
Oh yeah, of course. I can remember when I was just barely big enough to remember wrestling, sitting watching wrestling with my father, and my brother. As far back as that goes. But I've always been a fan of wrestling. As far as being involved in it, that's just been over the last year or so. But I've always been a big fan of wrestling.
Now, growing up, who would you say some of your major, now not necessarily promoting style, because I know a lot of people don't really follow the promotions and the business side of it until they get, past 21, 22, and then start realizing, hey, this could actually be fun to do. But as far as it goes, your favorite stars in the pro wrestling business over the years?
One of my favorites always was Dusty Rhodes. I always enjoyed watching Dusty Rhodes wrestle.
Okay. Would it be because of the, he's always had more of a street style that he could communicate well with everybody, regardless of whether or not they were a Harvard graduate or had the IQ of dried wallpaper paste, or was it just a charisma?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He reached everybody on every level.
Now, coming back to the focus for a second, to the card, you have a very volatile situation in play with the Southern Tag Team titles. It's public knowledge that Damon Taz and Joey Sartain normally do not tag together. And then you're adding in a very combustible element in Johnny Slaughter, not to mention a more of, I would call him probably one of the better international hitmen I've seen in the business, and that would be Yashira. Do you think that one ring can possibly contain all four of these men, much less in a tag team circumstance?
Probably not, but that's going to be the great part of it, is to see, where they can take this and how far, we can go with this.
Now, every promoter with whom we've spoken, and we've had promoters from all over the country and from all over this country and from different countries come on. You know, we always know that the main match is going to be the championship title match. And for this one, it's going to be the vacated Southern Heavyweight title, the California Beach Boy and Pretty Boy Floyd. Now, not slanting toward any other talent that is on the card, I'm going to ask you a personal perspective question. Other than the main event, as a wrestling fan, as separating that from the promotion side of you, which match do you think has the possibility to just out and out steal the show, knowing the fact that all 5 matches are going to be solid matches? Most fans in the state of Alabama and the southeastern U.S. are going to recognize these names, so there's no doubt about the fact that you're bringing in quality talent. But from a fan perspective, from you being a fan, which match do you think has the best possibility of stealing the show?
Oh, definitely the tag team match is going to steal the show.
Okay. Wicked, come on in one more time.
Well, I just want to know one more thing is why my name isn't on the poster. I should be on the poster. We'll be a part of the tag.
I'm so sorry. I will put you on there just as soon as I can. That was just a mere oversight. You know, I think that was Angie's oversight. You know, I give her this information and said, here, this is what needs to be done with it, and you need to be doing it, and I think she dropped the ball there.
Ooh, she's throwing Angie under the bus.
It was a direct blow to my ego. To my pralines and penis ice cream flavor, it's just...
Don't you just hate when that happens?
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I'm talking
well,
about...
Well, I'll tell you what, you can take it up with her, okay?
Oh, I will, believe me. Because come January 7th, those tag team titles are coming home to Johnny Slaughter and...
Yoshira.
Yoshitatsu, or...
God!
Sue, or whoever. I didn't pay the guy. Johnny paid the guy. Johnny paid him to come in. I could care less. I think Johnny win it by himself.
I got a question about this tag team championship situation. I'm over here in the chat room, and the G Club, the Gentleman's Club. I don't know which one of them it is that's posted in here, but with a name like the Gentleman's Club, I'm already going to be following these guys tenfold now that I see that they are the Gentleman's Club. But the guy posted in here says that the Gentleman's Club beat Damon Taz and Sartain at the last show, and I didn't have the pleasure of being at the last show, but he's saying they won that match. What's the story behind this?
Honestly, there was so much confusion and everything that night.
Oh boy.
You know, I don't really know. I'll just be honest with you. Like I said, my booker fell through that night. He did not show up. He was not there to run my locker room and to handle these guys like he was supposed to have. So I very well may have dropped the ball on that and had said that wrong.
So you're going to tell me that the reason the Gentleman's Club aren't your tag team champions is because of the booker? Fishiness going on in HCW already.
No, actually, Brooks, I believe that the thing that she's putting out there is the fact that there was so much chaos at the last show. It would be too much for one person to really be able to decipher at this particular point. And yeah, there may be a little bit of controversy over the tag team championships, but I have a feeling that after this Saturday it may be resolved. Right, Leanne?
Exactly.
Well, I have a feeling the next time you see the Gentleman's Club at ACW, it's definitely going to get resolved then.
It's very conceivable.
Anybody that wants to know what happened, all you got to do is look at Wicked Nemesis Enoch, E-N-O-C-H, on YouTube, and the match is up there. It's up there. The finish is up there. I can tell you exactly what happened, play by play. Something was slipped to one of the Gentlemen's Club right in front of the referee. He used it as a weapon. The referee didn't call the match, and then 1, 2, 3.
That sounds on the up to me.
Then, hold on, and then proceeded to beat down Damon Taz and Joey Sartain after the match was over. But this wasn't a tag team titles match. That's why they're not tag team champions. Had it been a tag team title match, then yeah, they would be. And you can go back and watch the beginning of it. It said this is a non-title match. It's up there.
Oh, I see.
That's why.
Okay. Mabo, come on. One more. You got one more?
Oh, you know I do. Hold on, I'm digging in my nose. Yeah, Leanne, let me ask you something. You got any, like, spare toilet paper tubes, like empty toilet paper tubes laying around the house or anything?
I don't keep those. Sorry.
Can you, like, during the next show, can you guys start up a collection of empty toilet paper tubes for me? It's for an arts and crafts project.
No, yeah, Mabo is really good at recycling those in a very specific manner. So, and we're going to leave it at that.
I bet.
Now,
yeah, we don't need to go there.
And in the words we've all come to know and love, let's take it home. Folks, Saturday, January the 7th, once again, real quick, advance tickets are available for $8 a piece. You've heard earlier in the interview exactly how to get in touch with different members of Alabama Championship Wrestling, so you can definitely get those advance tickets. Also, Facebook.com/Alabama Championship Wrestling. The day of the event, tickets will be $10 a piece at the door. Once again, door opens at 7. Bell time is going to be 8 o'clock p.m. at the Carbon Hill Community Center, 229 Northwest 2nd Street in Carbon Hill, Alabama. MapQuest, Yahoo, screw Google. Plain and simple. Like I said, you can also call 205-388-5925 for a little bit more information and to also get advanced tickets. You can follow them on Facebook, facebook.com/Alabama Championship Wrestling. Leanne, real quick, from the hip, from you to the world, I want to go ahead and give you an opportunity right now. Let everybody know exactly what they can expect to see on Saturday, January the 7th at ACW. Come on in.
We're going to have a great show, great talent coming out. We've got some great fans coming to see us. We hope to see everybody there.
Folks, our very special guest, ACW promoter Leanne Engel, has just gone beyond ringside. Folks, we're going to take it to the break, and we'll be back on Beyond Ringside right after this.
This is Kevin Kleinrock, WSX, XPW, and now Viva La Lucha, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hi, I'm Drew Brees, NFL quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, here with Bugs Bunny to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you fuel your body and your mind.
So what do you like to throw around the football like Drew?
Skateboard, ride a bike, or dance in your room.
Just move it your way.
And be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
This is Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. You're listening to Beyond Ringside.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like fish sticks. Fillets, I get, but sticks? Maybe we can just compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with Brie?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is Michael the Godfather Gibbons, and you are listening to Beyond Ringside.
Foreclosure is hard on every member of the family, but your family is not alone. If you're struggling with your mortgage, there is help. To learn about the government's Making Home Affordable program, visit makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE to speak to a HUD-approved housing counselor. It's free of charge. Visit makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE today. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, NeighborWorks America, and the Ad Council.
This is Liz Savage. You can check me out at www.myspace.com/wrestlingdiva, and you're listening to Beyond Ringside.
Hi, this is Joe Elliott from Def Leppard for RAD. Planning on going out and having a party? Great, have a lot of fun. But do me a big favour and don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives. You should too.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Dale the Demon Torborg, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hello, this is Robin Zander.
Hello, this is Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick for RAD.
Some people think it's fun to drive drunk, but that's unacceptable.
Be smart. If you drink,
don't drive.
Think ahead and choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You have tuned in and are now live listening to the 3-time NWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. And just like you, I am also locked in. And brother, we are beyond ringside.
Citizens of America, this is a message from feedthepig.org. Americans spent more money than they earned in 2005. This is the first negative savings rate in the U.S. since the Great Depression. America, we must start feeding the pig. On the 1st and the 15th, we must pay ourselves before we pay anyone or anything. We must make a budget. Even consider cutting up a credit card. Log on to feedthepig.org today. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
This is Jeff Damon from Deadliest Wear on Spike TV. Hit me up on my website at www.jeffdamon.com. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The inmates are running into the asylum, and guess what? We're all the inmates. Screw it. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside, live on a Sunday night, January the 1st, 2012, just 18 before the top of the hour on this Sunday night edition. Fast Eddie Lane welcoming back in Brooks Logan. By the way, Brooks, how do you think it went?
I thought it went great. I'm glad you waited till we got on air to ask me how.
Not a problem. It was a rib, dude. Welcome back in, Wicked Nemesis.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
And the man who, of course, equates everything to internet porn. It just depends on whether or not it's a free site, pay site, or if you're going to get a virus a little bit later from your left hand. Mark Bowman, what's up, buddy?
Just keep talking. I'm almost finished.
Thanks for playing. Thank you to Leanne Hinkle for coming on from Alabama Championship Wrestling. Oh, Leanne, that was a blast. Thank you for coming on. You know, the only thing, we could have actually gone for the lightning round, and I think Leanne would have gone with it. And guess what? I think we'll do that at a later point in time. I have a feeling she'll be back with us in the very near future. You know, it has been a great year in the world of professional wrestling in more ways than one. And oh, I have a message from a friend of yours, Mabo.
I have friends?
Yeah, you do, actually. And he makes the comment that he thinks that you would like the Irish mayo ice cream.
Yeah, you tell the little midget that I'm glad that he's got jokes, because then he can find a better job opening for Mick Foley on January 12th at the Comedy Club.
We'll cover that a little bit later, too. Actually, I got a surprise coming everybody's way, but keep your eyes on the .com and the social networks, because updates are coming. Trust me, we're going to have fun. Now, we made a reference in the opening segment to Scrap Iron Adam Pearce winning his 4th NWA World Heavyweight Championship this year. There were other championships that changed hands, or additional championships that changed hands. You saw Tiffany Rocks pick up her first NWA World Women's Championship this year. Held it for a little while, and in the rematch, or in a subsequent rematch with the 2-time champion Tasha Simone has now picked up her 3rd NWA World Women's Championship. That took place on Christmas night in Lebanon, Tennessee. Go from there. You also had a brand new NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion crowned. I'm getting text messages out the yin yang real quick, so let me leave. I'll come back to those in a minute. But you have a new NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion crowned in the modern day hero Kevin Douglas. You had a changing of the guard momentarily, so to speak, with the tag team championships in the NWA, as the Usual Suspects, who very good friends of ours here on Beyond Ringside, especially Murder One. The Usual Suspects picked up their first run as World Tag Team Champions. The Dark City Fight Club regained the NWA World Heavyweight Championships, Tag Team Championships a little bit later on down the road. I'm sorry, the text messages threw me off. Sorry about that. Hi, Josh. And all over the country, in different promotions, you had championships changing hands. And, yeah, I know. Thanks. I am working on focusing. Thank you for playing. We'll talk later, but that's a different gimmick. Thank you, Mr. Miyagi. let's go with the factor of everybody thought that the tag team titles changed hands in ACW as a milestone or as an accomplishment this year. Yet the championships stay with Damon Taz and Joey Sartain. Let's go with Global Championship Wrestling and the controversy that has constantly surrounded the GCW Tag Team Championships between High Definition and the Brotherhood. Mr. O'Hagan, who's been a guest here on Beyond Ringside before, Maniac O'Malley, who's been here on Beyond Ringside before. I mean, and those two teams have gone back and forth, and you've got a new team coming into GCW called the KCP that is based out of the Georgia market. You've got situations up in NWA Pro South in Piedmont, Alabama. You've got them all the way up with Jersey All Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Ohio, new champions crowned all the way across the country and around the world in professional wrestling. And tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and take a risk real quick. I'm going to go ahead and open up the line. Area code 252, you're on Beyond Ringside. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from North Carolina.
Okay. What you got on your
mind? You remember me, Danny?
Okay.
The wrestler that was from from North Carolina?
Yeah, it was called Nightmare at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you been doing, man?
Nothing much, guys. I was asking you, what do you think about the way Bischoff's doing things in TNA?
I'm going to open up the table for that one. Mabo, you take it first.
Oh. There you go.
Brooks.
Well, my opinion on the way things have been run over there has been clearly made on this show numerous times. I think he is still riding the fame of what he did at WCW. He's still on that horse, and he can't get past the fact that he's a legend in his own mind. He did one spectacular thing. I think he did one good thing at WCW. He did something that had never been done, and he competed with Vince. But now at TNA, and he's not running that ship by himself by no means. But he's not. He I would say he's pretty much the captain of that ship, and he's not running a tight ship. He's not the Eddie. He don't run a ship like Eddie Lane does here at Beyond Ringside. I'll say that. And I think things are just too far gone at TNA. I think they have no hope of competing. If their hope was to compete with WWE, it's never going to happen. In my opinion, they can't even compete with Ring of Honor right now.
Wicked Nemesis.
He's done a few good things. Putting the title on Bobby Roode, is kind of iffy. It could be a good thing. You just have to see where it plays out. Bringing Gunner back was a good thing.
Yes.
They have one of the best pay-per-views of the year, and their heavyweight title wasn't even defended on the show. Then again, he's also hurt Impact so low that they're pulling in whatever, where they were supposed to be pulling in at least a 0.1, or at least a 1, and they can't even pull that in. So I mean, there's been the ups and downs, but for the most part, downs.
And on a personal perspective, I'm going to say it like this. Right now, I actually watched both hours of Impact this past Thursday night on Spike TV. They look like they are in a rebuilding process. Only problem is they're not using bricks, they're using Legos. You've got some tremendous talent in Impact Wrestling, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Thursday nights, 9 Eastern on Spike TV. But they are being miscast and miswritten. Everything right now is probably one of the biggest cluster bangs I have ever seen in the world of sports entertainment, professional wrestling. Even the Brock Lesnar-Alistair Overeem match the other night and the politicking around it made more sense than half the storylines that I've seen over at Impact right now. You have the gimmick with Madison Rayne. Okay, I love the fact that Sting came out and started matching Madison squeal for squeal. I thought that was funny as hell. But in the main event, and a good friend of mine, David Price, made the comment that he felt that it was a bad idea to put the knockouts in the main event. I disagree with that. I think that if they would have let that match go out to a logical conclusion and let Gail Kim do something to screw Mickie James over to keep the Knockouts title, it would have gone a lot better in the eyes of a lot of people than having Madison Rayne come out of the crowd or out from under the ring or out of somebody else's jockstrap. I'm sorry. No offense to Madison Rayne. She's a very talented young lady. But I'm going to be watching you. Well, guess what? You didn't watch her close enough, and that created the loophole in the storyline. And the Jeff Hardy face paint was really cute, by the way. I like that. Also known as, it looked more like the Boogeyman blue as opposed to a Jeff Hardy painting. But the cluster in the tag team division right now, the Wild Card Series, I like it, but it's stretching out a little bit further than it should. Granted, they're trying to get to Genesis. They've got a lot of things they need to put in play before Genesis. What makes the most sense right now in Impact Wrestling, the X Division. Thank God. I have been one of the most ardent supporters of the Impact Wrestling X Division. I literally cried when I thought the X Division was going to go away because I felt it was the best thing to happen, best thing to be in professional wrestling. I wish WWE would get smart and bring back the Cruiserweight division and put it back on SmackDown. Because when
they're never going to do that, dude. I mean, Vince is just trying to get the biggest guys that he can get on TV and then use them to the hilt, man. I mean, it's just pathetic.
Well, I have to argue with the bigger point because if you've seen the size of Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and Zack Ryder, they're not exactly Batista or Mason Ryan as far as the size goes. But by God, they've got the talent.
Yeah, he has the talent, but I mean, he's not using the younger talent like he should.
I have to argue that in WWE right now they are. They're actually putting Daniel Bryan with the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk is not exactly a Triple H tenured veteran. Neither is Zack Ryder with the U.S. Championship. And Cody Rhodes with the Intercontinental. They've got the youth movement is in place.
Cody is weak right now. I just don't see him actually doing good. I mean, it's just what they're doing with Cody is like they used to do with his brother.
Well, I'll challenge that point on one perspective. And matter of fact, I want to go all the way around and see if everybody agrees or disagrees. With what they are doing right now, with Cody and Booker T, they are finally putting Cody against somebody who is long-term established as a face character, who has that level of popularity to where Cody can be genuinely treated as a real heel in this business. Oh my God, he attacked Booker T. How dare him do something like that? It was the best thing that they could have done with Cody Rhodes at this point. You've got the Intercontinental Champion coming out of the gimmick with the plastic mask and putting the bags on the heads. You're trying to establish him as a pure, straight-ahead force as a heel. Right now, the only way that they could actually do that without moving him to Raw and putting him against Cena, which would end up being a squash, is to do something with Booker T. I'll go around. Danny, do you agree or disagree?
I think it would be a squash, like you said.
The Cena gimmick?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
It would. I mean, there's actually, you're kind of right. I mean, I'm just saying they should use him a lot more with the older veterans. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Only problem is a lot of the veterans are either out, hurt, gone because of the wellness policy, or future endeavored.
Oh yeah.
I mean the youth movement in WWE is solidly in place. Tag team champions Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne, for as often as they defend. When your most tenured person there now, Big Show, Kane. In my opinion, those are the two longest running, other than Undertaker, who's been off TV for the last few months. Big Show and Kane are your longest tenured veterans on that television broadcast. But I'll open it up. Agree or agree with the direction that I pointed out about Cody Rhodes, Mabo?
Yeah, I mean, you can only put Cody against so many other people, I guess, as far as you might say his peers on the roster, of the same age group or of the same placement on the roster. So to sort of put him up against someone, I don't know if you'd say legend, because legends are, a different step, different breed, if you will. But somebody who has established themselves as a name in the business, I think it's great, and Cody can only benefit from it, and maybe move him up to that main event level, one day. Hopefully he will.
Brooks Logan.
I'll say this about Cody. And when he first came on the scene, I looked at this guy and I said, here's a skinny little twerp that will be gone, and I'll give him 3 months.
That's what they said about Barry Windham, too.
Well, and that's what I said about Cody. And he has gone above and beyond the expectations I had for him, and I'm sure as a lot of other people did. I looked at him and I said, he's got a good look. He's not, an overly big guy, but he's got a decent physique. He's okay on the mic. That lisp always throws me, but he's not bad on the mic. But I looked at his dad and I looked at Dustin, and I saw I never would have thought I would put Cody in the class with them. He's as good, if not better, than Dustin, and if he keeps going the way he's going and the push he's getting, he could be right up there with his dad. And I'm not talking no time soon. It would take years and years to get on that level, but just what he's done since he's been there is exceeded my expectations for the guy, because I saw nothing in him. But he plays that heel roll to the T. He's as good a heel as WWE has right now going. He's one of the best they have. As far as putting him against veterans or whoever, like you said, Eddie, there's not really many veterans left for him to go against. And I think we're seeing a new movement with WWE. If you look at the champions, you got guys that created names. You got Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, who created their name on the indie level. And like I said, I think we're starting to see maybe a new, not gonna say maybe, I guess a new era in WWE, and it's gonna be for the best. It's gonna be for the good. And I think I think Cody fits right in with that. He's done a great job in the role he's been put in.
Wicked Nemesis.
Well, as anyone that listens to this show and listens to Shoot Finish Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, PW 24/7 Radio, I'm against this because they have so much young talent to use against Cody. As we all know, they're building up to be able to use Goldust at WrestleMania, because Booker T and Goldust being, good friends and this and that. It just goes to show that they do not have faith in all their young talent. That's all there is. They don't have faith. That's why you have somebody as Booker T against this, and the fact that they keep putting it on Cena. If they were to make FCW more of a developmental and really take time to that young talent and bring up the guys when they're ready, not when they think that they're ready, but when they are ready, when you know they're ready, because nowadays guys can't go on the road for 7 or 8 years and then get signed and learn something. The last person to do that was Mr. Kennedy, and we saw how that turned out. CM Punk luckily has, and Bryan Danielson has, but Mr. Kennedy was on for a long time in the Indies before he was able to break through, so to speak. And that's what it is. They need to take care of FCW, get that ready to make people ready for TV, like what they should be doing. If they were to get that, then everything would fall in place. Then you don't have to use Booker T. Then you'll have faith in all your young people. And there is a resurgence of young. And we talked about it on this show two WrestleManias ago?
Yep.
When they first started using their young talent, eventually it's going to come to where it's going to be all young talent. We said that on this very show. I said it, and we all agreed with it. Everybody that was on the show that night.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Well,
this is it.
If I could say,
they have in their young people totally, not just a chosen few.
I don't think they have a choice but to go with younger talent now. The older guys, like Eddie said, they're not there. They're not as prominent no more. I think and I could be wrong, and if you guys don't agree, that's definitely correct me. But I think the reason you don't see Vince having the faith in the younger talent like Wick's talking about is because I don't think Vince has ever been in the situation where he has to rely on younger talent. He's always had the guy he picked Hulk Hogan from Vern Gagne, and he brought him in and created what he created with him. But he was already a substantial name at the time. And like I said, I don't think he's had to rely on that younger talent like he's going to have to do in the future. He's going to have to rely on that younger talent because that's what's going to make WWE the WWE. So, like I said, I could be 100% wrong, but I don't think. I think he's wary of it because he has never had to rely on that younger talent.
Let me close it out like this. Somebody posted a picture that was taken backstage at a WWE event recently, and it had tag team champions. It had all the champions in place right there. I posted it on my personal Facebook, and it was the Divas champion Beth Phoenix. God, I'm still in lust. The tag champions Kofi and Evan, Intercontinental champion Cody Rhodes, U.S. champion Zack Ryder, WWE champion CM Punk, and World Heavyweight champion Daniel Bryan. And to see that picture, and you go back and compare it right now to what TNA has to offer. Right now, they've put their main strap on Bobby Roode, which was a great move in my book. I disagree with the factor of how they did it, but the fact that they did eventually get it on him was a great swerve because they put it on Storm, then they put it on and turned Bobby Roode heel. Open notation to TNA management, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling management. It's okay to have a babyface as your primary champion. It's been done before in this business. Would you please understand that? You don't have to turn every champion that wins the belt heel. Hello, we do pay attention to this.
Don't try to tell them nothing. If anybody is listening, they don't listen to any suggestions any damn way, so wasting your breath on that.
Yeah, and like I said, in my humble opinion, the thing that makes the most sense right now in Impact Wrestling is the X Division. Austin Aries, great champion. They're bringing in fresh blood, new talent into the X Division. God, I wish they could cultivate more talent up at the A-list and really keep the tag team division going the way it should. Beer Money eventually needs to come back together. 3D's got to make one more run. Mexican America was making positive advances, but the thing about it is, and God only knows what's, I'm hoping that Chris Sabin actually does manage to make it back into Impact Wrestling, and he and Alex Shelley get back on television, because I think the two of them are absolute money. They are talented in the ring. They're great behind the microphone. They are very charismatic. They are money. But I'm going to have to leave it at that, folks. We are late to go to the top of the hour break. We're going to be back in 5 minutes right here on Beyond Ringside.
The odds of becoming a signed artist and having 3 #1 albums? 1 in 100 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of this performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
This is Wicked Nemesis, and you're listening to Beyond Ringside.
We all lock our doors at night to keep our family safe, but we can't so easily lock out H1N1 flu.
Truth is, you can. The simplest and safest protection against H1N1 recommended by the CDC is vaccination. The H1N1 vaccine is safe, effective, and the most important step to keeping healthy.
Stop H1N1 at the door. Keep it away from your family.
Get yourself and the ones you love vaccinated. Visit flu.gov to get a vaccination near you.
Be the one to protect your family from H1N1.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate, because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Aloha, this is Tracy Taylor, all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii, the island girl, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
You must be your fairy godmother. Yes.
It doesn't take a fairy godmother to tell you that the right fit means everything.
Good heavens, child. You can't go in that.
Children under 4'9" need to be in a booster seat because they aren't ready for adult safety belts alone. Remember that 4'9" is the magic number, and get your little pumpkin there safely in a booster seat.
Oh, thank you.
For more information, visit boosterseat.gov. This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express, 8-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, and the true independent outlaw wrestler of the world. You're locked in Beyond Ringside.
Most days go by without a whole lot of surprises. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life, as you know it, has completely turned on its head? Would you be prepared? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. This is Jerry the King Lawler. That's right, the host of the #1 rated show in all of cable television, Monday Night Raw. That's right, Jerry the King Lawler, WWE Hall of Famer, Jerry the King Lawler, and I am locked into Beyond Ringside.
I'm in love with this girl. In love with.
Hi, I'm Gavin DeGraw for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. In less time than it takes to play your favorite tune, someone will be killed or injured in an alcohol-related crash. If you party, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Sad stories make great songs, but happy endings make better lives. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Bullet Bob Armstrong. I'm Southern born, Southern bred, and I never miss Beyond Ringside.
As a mother, I'm making it a point to get the H1N1 flu vaccine for my children. You see, children are especially vulnerable to serious complications from the H1N1 flu, which could lead to hospitalization and even death. That's why I'm urging parents to get their children vaccinated. Vaccination is safe and is the most effective way to prevent the flu. Get the facts at flu.gov. Together, we can all fight the flu.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, you got Dick Foley, Power Pro Wrestling, North Carolina's best independent promotion, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Charlie!
Hey, did you see that play last night?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and they still lost.
Sure.
You know, when I was playing, what we tried to do...
You played in the street.
I played in the service. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is the kid, he should have...
Yeah, Hey, you okay?
I don't...
Someone call 911!
2 out of 3 people with diabetes die of a heart attack or stroke, but you can lower the risk. Ask your healthcare provider how. For more info, go to diabetesactnow.org. Brought to you by the American Diabetes Association and the Ad Council.
This is Jim Cornette. You are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Energy efficiency interviews are brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Matthew, you know energy-saving light bulbs last 6 times longer than that old bulb in your lamp.
Yeah, well, I don't even live here.
Matthew, dinner's ready.
I never met that woman.
It's your favorite, Matt. Lasagna.
Don't you people knock? Just give me the energy saver.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse? Learn more at loseyourexcuse.gov.
Hands can do incredible things. This is the sound of 2 hands helping to save a life. It's called hands-only CPR, and it's recommended by the American Heart Association. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life. For more information on this latest method of CPR, visit handsonlycpr.org today. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
This is your boy, Miggity Miggity Mabo, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Ferry residents, Tooth speaking. Sorry, there's no credit fairy here. What's that? He magically raises your credit score? Yeah, there's no credit fairy. But you can improve your credit by paying bills on time and keeping your credit card balances low. Money under your pillow? Sorry, kids only.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there is help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org. Brought to you by the Consumer Bankers Foundation, the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
This is Jacoby Boykins, a.k.a. the Alabama Ambassador, Mr. 256, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hi, I'm Joe Perry. And Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, here for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Yeah, you know we love it when the music...
And this is Kenny Kip Kennedy, master of Kenny's Kempo Karate.
Hier spricht Tassilo Jung von Western Extreme Wrestling.
This is the Dark Child, Chance Crawford, NWA National Heavyweight Champion.
This is the Temptation, Sean Tempers. This is Jacoby Boykins, a.k.a. the Alabama Ambassador, Mr. 256.
This is the Bee's Knees, the Casper Pajamas, and the whole shebang. Johnny Gargano.
This is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening,
You're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
Kicking off a brand new year and always ready to have some fun. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside Sunday Night Live. 10 minutes after the top of the hour. Apologies to the network affiliates up and down the line for the late break on that one and blowing off the bottom of the hour break without advance notice. I apologize for that. Fast Eddie Lane back in behind the control panel. Wicked Nemesis, how you doing?
Having a heck of a night. Thank you, Leanne Engel, for coming on. And, don't worry about it. It's going to be a hell of a show.
Yes, it is. Brooks Logan, welcome back.
Well, I'm just glad I asked who the hell was on the line, because that would have made for an awkward back to air segment here, because we would all still be sitting here wondering who the hell is about to come on the show.
Mabo, what's up, buddy?
As soon as we're wrapped up, I'm going to go eat a bowl of banana nut bread ice cream from Bluebell. Actually, I'll have 2 bowls, one to eat and one to dip my balls in.
God almighty.
He likes his sweaty balls.
Mm-hmm.
And like to welcome in a very good friend of ours in more ways than one. He is actually one half of the GCW World Tag Team Champions with Global Championship Wrestling. Longtime fans of that promotion in and around the southeastern U.S. still recognize him as Mr. Blur, so we'll go ahead and pop that one right now. Mr. O'Hagan, welcome in. How you doing, man?
I am fantastic.
I hope you're getting your new year off to a great start.
Yep, it's the best day of the year so far.
Now, I'm going to break code for a second there, because if you heard me during the previous segment and I was cracking up a couple of times, O'Hagan was sending me text messages. He was listening in live and started to call in, and some of the messages he was sending was throwing me off, and it's like, thank you, I appreciate that. Every once in a while, I've just got to break concentration and try to regroup, so I'll use that infamous word from days gone by. First off, hell of a year in 2011 for you. I don't know if you heard the comment that we're making a little bit earlier when we were talking about championships, but in the GCW tag team ranks, you and Maniac O'Malley, known as the Brotherhood, have been involved in one hell of a feud with High Definition, Jeremy Foster and Cody O'Connor. Y'all have gone back and forth, but throughout it all, you and O'Malley have managed to hold on to the tag team straps.
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, for roughly 10 months out of this year, we've been champs. And as far as High Def goes, I've had a harder time wrestling my socks on than I have with them.
Now, a company that you and I both work with, Global Championship Wrestling, we have our debut outing, or premiere outing, in 2012. It's going to be this coming Saturday night, January the 7th, in Palmerdale, Alabama, at the Palmerdale Homestead Community Center. Tickets for the event are $10 a piece. Bell time is going to be 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 7. And speaking of High Definition, you are involved in a one-on-one matchup with Jeremy Foster.
No, I'm not.
Okay, has that been changed? Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm the short one. I'm wrestling the big, huge guy who owns the casino.
There you go. You're wrestling Chief Thunder Horse. I'm sorry I screwed that up. How did it end up being O'Malley and Jeremy Foster and you and Thunder Horse? I would figure that the two power guys for the combination would have been a good match, and you and Foster, being the more high flyers of the bunch, would have made a solid match. But you and Thunder Horse, that's actually a scary option for you.
I've got some reservations about it, but you know.
O'Hagan Smoke'em Wicked's peace pipe. Now,
I figure I'll go there and I might not even have to wrestle. I'm just going to give him a couple of shiny beads and he'll leave the ring.
You think so?
Yeah, I can probably get his house for him too.
Something to add to the headdress, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, let me ask a question real quick before I open up the table. Thanks for using the phrase, Wick. There is a new tag team on the way in that has actually made their foray into GCW right now, and they are KCP. How well do you know them?
Who?
That answered that question. Brooks, come on in with Mr. O'Hagan.
Well, it's nice to hear from you. It's been a long time since I got to talk to this guy.
It's always good to hear from you, my big lumberjack friend.
Well, I'll say this: I have definitely missed hearing your witty remarks, man. You are one of my all-time favorites, and that's a straight shoot. no matter what problems I may have with other things, you have always been one of my all-time favorites when it comes, especially around the state of Alabama. You one of my favorites and one of the best wrestlers around. That's me being straight up.
Thank you. I'm glad some people have good taste.
Well, not many around this area do. So you can always count on me to have some taste. But like I said, good to hear from you, and thanks for calling in, man. It's been too long since I talked to you, so thanks for calling in.
Not a problem. I couldn't pass up getting to hear you guys be crazy.
Mabo, come on in with O'Hagan.
Yeah, well, first of all, you said that tag team coming in. What are they, KPC?
KCP.
Who?
KCP. Don't they put out those the pizzas, the frozen pizzas you can get at your local grocer?
I don't.
I have no damn idea what you're talking about.
It was KFC, and I'm like, oh, I gotta wrestle 13 herbs and spices.
Oh yeah, especially, and if they're a buffet, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: for those who might be new listening to the show, or who and shame on them, who might be new to the Brotherhood, explain who the Brotherhood is and how you came about meeting your current tag team partner.
Well, besides being awesome like I am, I have a super smoking hot wife/valet named Neela, and just funny enough, her brother is O'Malley. And I met this young thug through her, and proceeded to beat him up constantly because I was dating his sister, and we just enjoyed fighting so much that I convinced him to get in the ring, and now we enjoy beating up other people.
Okay.
Besides the fact that I've traveled all around, and I've been known as a singles wrestler, I've been known as a tag team wrestler, and if it's one thing I can do is I have good tag team partners. I've, won tag team titles. This is my third partner I've had, and I mesh well with certain people, and I usually try to pick them well, whether they're still wrestling or not. I've always had great confidence in the people that I've stepped in the ring with, and this O'Malley is, no different. I have confidence in him, and I trust this man, and he has become my brother, and we are the Brotherhood, and I'm going to continue to have confidence in the fact that we're just the best tag team around right now, and we actually try to keep a little old school flavor to us by just smashing heads. I'll punch you in the face before I backflip. Say that right now.
That would make a good T-shirt. You ought to think about that one.
I was actually going to have a T-shirt coming out this summer called "I Taught Your Girlfriend That Trick You Like."
There you go. Wicked Nemesis, come on in with O'Hagan.
I'm not calling him that. I refuse to. I'm sorry. Blur, love you. Blur, I love you. I love your entire family. And you know that. Tell your wife I said hello. Who might have had his valets alive. This woman, not only she'll do your taxes, she makes sure that O'Hagan and Mr. Blur, both personalities, and O'Malley are fed, that their bookings are taken care of, and that they don't get screwed on pay. So let's call it what it is. She is damn near a manager. If she had a penis, she would be a manager, I think. But
that's
you guys have
I'm so glad she doesn't.
Listen, hold on. I'm trying to be serious. Shut up. You've been really wrestling just tag teams that nobody gives a crap about. When are you guys going to start wrestling somebody that brings out the best in you guys? You guys are going to end up hitting this lull, and you know it. Even as a vet, you know that. You guys can hit that lull to where you're just destroying trash. If you keep getting fed trash, what do you become? Trash. When are you guys going to wrestle a real tag team?
Well, I'll say this. This last year we had a series of matches with Cassidy Riley and Chase Stevens.
Yes.
Which I felt was a good test of our abilities. Which we kept the belts. We walked away from that better, and we've yet to see them because I know that most of them have other engagements they do. But I would love to get back in the ring with those guys because they did push us to be better. I've recently got to go toe-to-toe with Micah Taylor and, of course, Brad Armstrong and the hardest chest-chopping human being alive, Bullet Bob Armstrong. I believe that he has had his hand reinforced with steel.
Probably.
When he chops you, he bruises your back. But being able to get into the ring with those guys was actually, you know, that was a breath of fresh air. Because it gets annoying when you are just constantly better than the people that get in the ring with you. And, you know, I find that happens a lot because well, to be honest, I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
There you go.
Once again, hold on, you're talking about Scott Armstrong.
No, Brad Armstrong.
Brad.
I'm sorry. Brad Armstrong, Bullet Bob Armstrong, and Micah Taylor, and high def. That's a huge differential there.
Oh, it is. I will tell you, the level of experience alone is decades and decades.
You're exactly right. And as you know, I've managed against Bullet Bob. Bullet Bob does have a still enforced hand. That is a shoot. And also, he has those mesmerizing hits. When he starts moving his and it makes me throw up. You know, you've seen it. You've seen how this and cheats, blatantly cheats. But when are you going to wrestle a real tag team?
Well, I will say one thing. We have a tag team tournament coming up, and there's a lot of spots to be filled, and I'm not sure if we have enough established tag teams, and so I'm glad that we're getting this KFC team from Georgia.
KCP.
Or SATs? What?
ACT, yeah.
I don't even know the name of these people, but it's another team that's going to be coming in from Georgia, and I think there might be more, and I'm excited about the possibility of being able to bruise knuckles with these guys because I'm wanting to test myself. You know, the way that you strive on causing riots, which you're so good at. I strive on being put in the ring with the best possible competition, and you know, I recently took a little trip up to OVW, and while I was up there, I had the extreme pleasure of insulting a lot of people. So I'm hoping that they come down soon, so I can bruise knuckles with them as well.
And I want to ask this on this point, the point about the low def that y'all kept having to go against all year long. You know, and y'all kept the titles 10 months out of the year, you said?
Yeah.
At what point does the brass say enough's enough? You know, keep giving low def chance after chance after chance. I am glad to see that the one guy got his tattoo finished. It was about time. I guess he was getting good paychecks. I guess that was the deal they had worked out. They kept getting ring time, so he got Mickey Mouse tattoo finished. And but at what point?
Let's not forget his partner's really pretty belly tattoo.
But you know, how many chances do you have to give low def? You know, I know you guys can only put in the ring with bitching, but you know, that's a damn enough. You know, they've had too many chances, and y'all hold the belt 10 months out of the year. I think they've had more than their fair share, and I'm glad to hear that the BDK killers are coming in to wrestle you guys. So, you know, hopefully you bring a little bit more to the table than Low Def did.
Now, let me.
Well, and in the situation that I'm going to be in, it's a triple threat TLC match, which, like I said, I like to be very cautious, and I plan things out. I'm very methodical with the way I attack and the way I wrestle. And having a team come in who I've never even, let alone seen really wrestle, but been around and kind of learned who they are and trying to figure out a game plan with them, I'm being thrown into a TLC match with these guys. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables being thrown at me, but at the same time, I'm really excited the fact that there is going to be someone besides high def. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the good teams that have been around have they've been broke up. You know, you had the Moneymakers, you had, you know,
Fistful of Dollars that broke up a couple years ago.
Fistful of Dollars, you know, the Moneymakers. I mean, you've even had like guys like Equalizer and Mudbone who've kind of started to kind of go in their own path. But I mean, hopefully with this tournament coming up, things will go in a new direction, and I'm excited about the possibilities that are coming up around the corner. And you know, continuing to put gold around my waist is always a nice thing.
Mabo, come on back in real quick.
He's busy eating.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Let me ask you this then, there, Mr. O'Hagan. Before, you met your lovely wife, I heard that there was a running contest between you, Mick Jagger, and Stan Lee of Marvel Comics of who was pulling down the most trim. Who, at the time of your marriage, was in the lead, and was that rumor true altogether?
I cannot, confirm nor deny this rumor, but let's say if it was true, I was smoking both of those guys so bad. So bad.
Well, based on the statistics that I read, granted, a Rolling Stone gathers no moss, and Stan Lee may be a Marvel, and he could be the almighty Thor with that hammer, but by the same token, there is no denying that every once in a while you just have to have the luck of the Irish, right, Mr. O'Hagan?
Oh, that's right. The Blowing Stone definitely brought me some luck. So, but not saying, like I said, I'm not confirming nor denying this. Because, of course, I now have a lovely wife, Neela.
Now,
luckily right now does not have internet access where she's at.
Now, let me shift gears for just a second, because there's something that I want to ask that a lot of GCW fans want to hear about. JJ Boom Boom Tanner, GCW official, the man with perpetual carpal tunnel on demand. His carpal tunnel pops up more often than really bad pop-ups on porn sites that I've been told about.
Which I will tell you right now, we are in the process of having Howard Cross file legal action against Playboy for his carpal tunnel, and we're hoping that gets resolved rather quickly.
I thought it was Popular Mechanics, but that's a different story. The fact of the matter is, a lot of people in the GCW fan base have accused JJ Tanner of protecting the Brotherhood and the tag team titles. Will you address that?
Well, I got protected when I was in an Irish pub brawl with the Indian Fly. Were we protected when we went toe-to-toe with Chase Stevens and Cassidy Riley? Have I had to be protected from anyone in the last, let's say, 9 months since, Boom Boom really decided that he really realized that we were the best and he wanted to be part of the best? I mean, for 9 months, no one could touch us. So exactly what do I need protecting from?
Is JJ Tanner on the Brotherhood payroll, yes or no?
No, but he is on the fan club. And if you got a problem with that, why don't you talk about Bernie Kowanowitz cheering and being a little cheerleader for every little punk that wants to come out there and high-five a little kid?
Yeah, and
I'm all about,
you are
kissing hands and shaking babies, but...
Wait, Brooks, wait. O'Hagan, finish, please.
Well, I mean, everybody wants to, cheer and, make all, googly eyes with, Mr. Bernie Kowanowitz when he comes out there and dances around with people and high fives and cheers when certain guys win. But when Boom Boom decides that he thinks that we're awesome and wants to get excited behind us, one team is suddenly showing favoritism. If we're going to talk about that, then Bernie Kowanowitz should be stripped of being senior official because he is far more guilty of those actions than any other referee I've ever met.
Now, Brooks, before you come in, let me preface by saying this. The reason why I asked that question is because a lot of people have been asking me that question. On a personal note and professional note, I feel the Brotherhood is a dynamic tag team. You have got a great fusion of styles in Josh O'Hagan and Maniac O'Malley. The fact of the matter is, the question had been put to me on more than one occasion. Man, is Boom Boom on their payroll? So I wanted him to have a fair and open opportunity to either say, yeah, he is, so what, or no, he's not, go away. So from that vantage point, and I will say this, I personally feel that the Brotherhood, O'Hagan and O'Malley, great ambassadors for tag team wrestling and great tag team champions for Global Championship Wrestling. Now, you were about to say.
Well, if you're done kissing ass.
I'm not kissing anybody's ass. You know better than that.
Anyway,
I ain't
like I was
Kowanowitz.
saying, before you covered your tracks there, that you want to talk about somebody asking you about Boom Boom Dynamite Tanner the question has been brought up numerous times, just like Mr. O'Hagan has said about Bernie Kwanowitz. How many times? And I can remember when I used to go to this organization, and I would sit there and discuss the things Bernie would do. He's the biggest face cheerleader that there ever has been. No, anybody that's ever watched him referee, no one can question that. So you should be ashamed asking that question to Mr. O'Hagan, and because I've never heard you bring up the point about Bernie and the garbage he pulls in there, jumping up and down and makes these terrible sad faces when a face character gets hit or chopped or something. And he just makes these just cringes when they get hit, but has a huge smile on his face when it's turned around. And when he has to make a 3 count for a so-called heel character, he just has the most disgust in his face and in his body language. So to ask that question of Boom Boom, if we're going to ask questions about one guy, let's run down the whole list, starting with that company's head official.
Well, by the same token, we haven't had Bernie Kwanowitz on to ask that question. We haven't had Boom Boom Tanner on to ask that question to directly. We have Mr. O'Hagan on, so it's the perfect opportunity to let him dispel the myth. That's why I did what I did when I did it. Let's go one more round real quick, and I'll give everybody a full synopsis of the card coming up. Wicked Nemesis, one more round with Mr. O'Hagan, or Mr. Blur, as you like to say.
Well, let me just ask this. How does it feel to know that you as yourself are being so mistreated at that place, blatantly in your face, so disrespected as to be fed crap?
Well, I'll look at it like this.
Because Blur wouldn't take that.
Oh no, this is how I'm looking at things right now, and this is going to cover a lot. So hold your seatbelt on. I want to be the best. I feel that I am a man that the PWI has severely looked over on several years.
I agree.
I want to wrestle the best. And right now, it is, to me, I am in a good place that is going to be giving me a lot of the best, especially with a lot of the things coming up I'm very excited about. On the same note, saying that where I am has the best, I don't take any shots at any other groups. There's a lot of good tag teams out there. There's a lot of good wrestlers out there. I'm not saying I've faced every single team in the state. I'm not saying I've faced every wrestler in the state. I'm not. I'm all about other places building up and having their own homegrown talent get bigger. Because then that just makes their names bigger for when I do get a chance to work these people.
Bingo.
The one thing that I have a thing is, in Alabama, people will go to a show that says pro wrestling. And I want those people to see the very best. And so do you guys. We want to be proud of our state and proud of what is put out in this state. I want other people to grow and do the same things. You know, I used to own my own federations. I know how hard it is to run a show. I know how hard it is to try to get butts in those seats.
Yep.
And to do what we do. You know, I owned Full Throttle Wrestling, and I ran throughout Northport and Tuscaloosa and up in all over North Alabama. You know, I've wrestled for the NWA up in Athens, Alabama. You know, I've worked the smallest shows and the biggest shows that I can. And I think that it's a great thing that there's competition, that there's people striving to make their show better so nothing gets stale, and to continuously grow. My only worry about too many shows, and like I said, I never want to see anyone do bad, because I would never want someone to wish me doing bad on a show. I just want these people to understand this. To me, if you ask me what I do for shoot or for whatever, my first words out of my mouth are, I'm a pro wrestler, because that is me. I might have 1,000 other occupations that I do, but the first thing I always say is I'm a pro wrestler, and I take pride in that. And when I hear people talk about Alabama pro wrestling, I want those people to understand that that's the things that I'm proud of. So if there are people wanting to put on shows, there's going to be adversity in any territory you ever run in. It's going to happen. Go to Georgia, go to Tennessee, go to Texas. I mean, it's going to happen. But if you love this business, and you love it with all your heart, and this is what you do, take pride in what you're putting on. Take the time to put in the effort and the hours of running all around and doing all the runaround and dealing with all the bullshit that comes along with this business, and take pride in it and love it. And you know what? The other people that see that you love that will start to have respect for you, because they realize it's not just a fly-by-night, oh, this will be fun to do. I got some extra dollars, I'm going to do this because it'll be fun. They'll see, hey, they actually love this like I do. And they're going to take respect in this and have pride in this and help build this state's just amazing talent pool up and make everybody better for it. I love the fact that I've wrestled for all these different companies, and I've learned so much from all of them. And the small companies that I did get to work for that have been around for years, they're there because they weren't making money. They had 5 people a show, but they kept dumping all their money into it because it's what they loved. And I had respect for that. Mm-hmm. I had respect for those people. And I have respect for every person that's on this line right now, because whether they agree with somebody or don't agree with somebody, everybody can agree that we do what we do for the love of it. We might have different outlooks on it. We might have different visions for it in the state, but we all love professional wrestling, and we have to respect that on each person. Whether it's someone who's on this line, who's not on this line, who was on this line earlier. We all love professional wrestling, and that's a flat respect right there. Now, how we work with that, there's going to be some issues, and there's going to be some butting of heads, but in the long run, it'll be for the better, because it's going to make one person want to run a stronger show. Like, we're going to get a better show. We're going to bring in the best people we can, and it's going to grow the same way WCW and WWF did. They strived off loving the business, and they worked harder and harder and harder, and next thing you know, it was the pinnacle of where it could have possibly been. And when it went down to just one show, yeah, it did kind of get stale for a while because there was no competition. But just these little butting of heads is going to only make this state better for it in the long run, and there will be a mutual respect all the way across the board. And I know that from a fact from at least my part of that equation. So I like the fact that I can call on this show, and you guys can give me respect for what I've done in the business so far, and I can give you guys respect whether you get in the ring, you don't get in the ring, whether you just want to sit there and support it and talk about it and pump it up. I remember Mabo being a part of a street team just because he loved it so much, and he's gotten to where he is right now, and he's stayed where he's at right now because he loves the business. No matter what shows he supports, he loves it. Nemesis travels all over. I know it's not because he's getting rich, it's because he loves it. Brooks, you did a tornado benefit show. Whether it worked or not, you had the love of the business that you wanted to do it. Okay. I respect everybody on this show, and I'm glad that I can call and do that. And in the long run, that respect that is all across the state is going to shine through, and you guys will see what I'm talking about.
I'll agree to that. I'll agree to that. Keeping one more round real quick. Mabo, come on back in. One more round with Mr. O'Hagan.
All right there, Mr. O'Hagan. It is no...
Bring it, Mayo.
Oh, see, now I was trying to be nice, and now you're going to sit there and do that.
You know I love you.
It's not very... It's not very... You're just jealous because I can ride the roller coaster rides and you can't.
Yeah, but I don't have to duck under stuff.
This is true. Now, it's no secret that you're very good friends with the World Heavyweight Champion of the company you currently work for. Is friendship going to stand in the way if you ever get a chance at the title?
No. Business is business, fight's fight. I'll fight my own partner. That's how we started being partners, because we like to fight so much. A fight's a fight. Business is business. You know, I love my family. Every guy I've ever sat in the locker room, I will call part of my family. But at the same time, when I get in that ring, I'm bringing 150%, even though that is mathematically impossible.
Brooks Logan, one more round.
Well, I just want to comment on the things Blair just said about the business and people in it, the respect factor, and as I said earlier, I've always been a fan for as long as I've seen Blair O'Hagan wrestle, and you know, that's, you know, I don't mince words and I don't bullcrap with people. Like I said, I've been a fan of his from day one, and that's both inside and outside the ring. And from the speech he just gave, what he just commented on, should show everybody that's listening why I'm a fan of his, especially outside the ring, because that's Blair being Blair. That's what you just heard. That wasn't fake, and it was 100% true. If more people around the state had that attitude about this business, it'd be in a lot better shape. And like I said, I just want to, you know, that's him in a nutshell. And that was from the heart what he just said, and I can attest to that. And that's the kind of guy he is. And when he talks about he gets respect from people on this line, he gets full-blown respect from me and always has. So I just want him to know that.
Let me go ahead and run this down real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, this coming Saturday night, January the 7th in Palmerdale, Alabama at the Palmerdale Homestead Community Center, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Our guest at this time, Mr. O'Hagan, one half of the Brotherhood and one half of the GCW Tag Team Champions, will be taking on Chief Thunderhorse. His tag team partner, Maniac O'Malley, will be taking on one half of High Definition, Jeremy Foster. Theodore Tutwiler III, the Cock of the Walk in Charleston, South Carolina, takes on the Equalizer. Cody O'Connor will be taking on the Mystic from San Monique, Mudbone. Amos Moses will be taking on Connor McAdams. That should be a very interesting matchup. And in the main event for the evening, the GCW World Television Championship will be on the line. The Psycho Circus will be taking on the champion, the Inhuman Fly. Great matches from start to finish, as GCW can bring them to you each and every outing. They've got outings coming up this Saturday in Palmerdale. Saturday the 14th, we're going to be in Jasper, Alabama at A&E Fun Center. You're, of course, going to be on that show, right, Mr. O'Hagan?
Of course. I'm on all the shows because I'm awesome.
And you also made a reference to the Triple Threat Tag Team TLC match that is going to be a part of GCW Collision on Saturday night, January the 28th in the Pell City Civic Center. That is going to be a hell of a lineup on the 28th as well. 3 huge shows for GCW coming up now. Noticing the fact that GCW is also picking up Northport, Alabama, shows in Stockbridge, Georgia, Macon, Georgia. The new road schedule, how's that working out with you?
Well, it's not well with me. I mean, I get to hurt people more often, and I am totally okay with that.
It's okay with O'Hagan. Now, real quick, of course, tickets are going to be $10 a piece for all shows. There is no ticket no hype in the ticket prices for either of the 3 shows. Open notation. I'm going to put you in promo mode for a hot second. Coming out of the shoot mode, coming over to promo mode. Direct message, Chief Thunderhorse, your opponent this Saturday in Palmerdale. Give him a direct message from one half of the Brotherhood.
Don't show up. You're going to save yourself a whole lot of trouble. You should just go back to making your arrowheads and picking feathers for your headpiece, because if you show up, you're not going to be the same afterwards. I'm faster, and you might be bigger, but I'm stronger. I'm a pure athlete. You're, look at him. That's him. And then look at me. I mean, you can just tell right away. I'm not worried about this. I'm not stressing this. I think about this match, and I sweat less than I would. Well, I can't even compare it to anything because it's just ridiculous. I shouldn't even be in the ring with this guy. He should be, on an internet-only download match that you can get for free.
Or, I was almost going to say a customs match. That's okay.
No one would pay for that customs match.
That would be a box that we're not going to open, and I'm not going to say the name of the box. Thanks for playing too many connotations there. We'll do that in another segment. Of course, I've also had a lot of people get a chance to catch you on the GCW television product Sunday morning, 1 a.m. on the CW.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the ratings are through the roof, and it's mainly just because I look good in tights.
And that's mainly because you're wearing basketball shorts right now half the time. But by the same token, now also you and I have had a chance to do play-by-play in color on some of the matches for the television product. I've said this in public and in private. You were a hell of a good time to work with behind the microphone.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because
I'm fun to work with all over the place.
As Mabo would attest to, right, Mabo?
Yes, I'm sure there's some footage that will probably never air, even if we do get our own network. I believe it was a Fan Fest.
Legends Fest. Yeah, it was a Legends Fan Fest 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we just sat there and we did nothing but have fun, and that's what it's all about, like the Hokey Pokey.
Believe it or not, that footage did air.
Well, oh well.
You didn't get fined?
That footage, and you didn't get fined. That footage actually did get broadcast both on replays, a replay of Beyond Ringside on the Ustream channel, the Blog Talk Radio channel, as well as some of our affiliates, as well as when we were doing the Best of Beyond Ringside over on Shoutcast, which I have a major announcement as it pertains to that. We'll do it in the next segment. Real quick, how can people catch you on the social networks?
Oh, Hagen, GCW on the old Twitter.
And you're doing a Facebook fan page every once in a while, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the name. Neela does all that for me. Wicked said it right when he said that she takes care of everything for me, because I honestly don't even know how to get to that page. I do my tweets, and then she deals with everything else.
Yeah, I know it's kind of like with me and Facebook. I have facebook.com/FastEddieLane for the fan page. I have the Twitter account. If you ask me how to get to my personal page, I don't know. I just log in, and I sometimes I even have to do a search for myself to see if I actually still exist. But it's always good to know that you exist, sir. It's a pleasure having you on board. I hope I'm looking forward to really big things in 2012. It's going to be a good year.
I know it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year for this entire state, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everything plays out. And I'm just excited about everything, and I'm just ready to hurt some people. It's been too long since my last show, and I've just been jonesing for a fist fight.
I'll see you Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest at this time, one half of the GCW Tag Team Champions, one half of the Brotherhood with Maniac O'Malley. Mr. O'Hagan has once again gone beyond ringside. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, Olympic gold medalist and professional beach volleyball player Misty May Trainer here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, reminding you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have more energy to dig into the things you like to do. Kick the soccer ball around,
ride your bike,
or dance in your room.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day
at www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
This is the seven-figure deal Ace Rockwell, and as long as Wicked Nemesis isn't on the show, please listen. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to decide?
This is Annie Lennox of Eurythmics for Rad. Please don't drink and drive, and don't drive if someone else has been drinking. Thank you.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Ace Haven from Pro South Wrestling, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
See what I mean?
You're right. I'm really not the worst trumpet player in the world. Thanks, Dad.
Just keep practicing, son. You'll get it.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is April Hunter from aprilhunter.com, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Energy efficiency interviews are brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
April.
Yeah?
So you know your charger that's plugged into the wall? It's still using energy, even though it's not attached to a phone.
That's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone. You know what? I'll just unplug it. I'm busy. I'll call you back.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse? Learn more at loseyourexcuse.gov.
Hey, half-heads, it's a 3-time NBA World Heavyweight Champion, Scrapline Adam Pierce, and just like me, you are locked in beyond ringside.
To be a good father is the most important job in a man's life, but it doesn't have to be hard. Play catch, go to a park or visit a zoo. Help your child with their homework. Sit down together for dinner. Ask them how their day was. Things get busy, and sometimes we all fall short. But the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Angel, half of the Double Trouble Morning Team on Distant Thunder Radio, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The following commercial is sponsored by FeedThePig.org, an organization devoted to helping you save money. We will not entice you with messages like
lowest prices in town, dealer approved, certified pre-owned.
Nor will we brag about our
huge selection, enormous variety.
We will offer no contingencies like
see store for details. Legal exclusions apply.
Because we simply want to help you spend smarter and save better. Log on to FeedThePig.org. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
What's up, everybody? This is the Master of Malice, Mark James, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hey parents, introducing the Communicizer. Go from boring old man speak,
oh, you know, I'm here if you want to talk,
to 100% off the chain.
Text me whenever, yo.
I love you, Dad.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Angel Orsini, former MMA fighter, professional wrestler. You can check me out at www.theangelorsini.com. And you are locked in on the Real Talk Radio. Beyond Ringside.
Nurse, set up an IV. And you, her boyfriend, you were the driver?
Yes, doctor, but I didn't mean to hurt her. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Just buzzed? Oh, then your girlfriend is fine.
Hey, sweetie. I feel great.
She's really okay?
What, are you kidding? No, not really. Nurse, get me a suture kit. Stat.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
This is Paul Stanley from KISS for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Some of us work months producing a CD, but in less time than it takes to play it, someone will be killed in an alcohol-related crash. So please don't drive when you've been drinking. Plan ahead. Arrange a designated driver. Remember, friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is GCW's senior official Bernie Kowanowitz, and you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
As a mother, I'm making it a point to get the H1N1 flu vaccine for my children. You see, children are especially vulnerable to serious complications from the H1N1 flu, which could lead to hospitalization and even death. That's why I'm urging parents to get their children vaccinated. Vaccination is safe and is the most effective way to prevent the flu. Get the facts at flu.gov. Together, we can all fight the flu.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
Citizens of America, this is a message from FeedThePig.org. Americans spent more money than they earned in 2005. This is the first negative savings rate in the U.S. since the Great Depression. America, we must start feeding the pig. On the 1st and the 15th, we must pay ourselves before we pay anyone or anything. We must make a budget. Even consider cutting up a credit card. Log on to FeedThePig.org today. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Everybody out there, this is the human hand grenade, Danny Only, one half of the Hate Junkies.
1/5 of POD, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Welcome to today's lottery drawing. And today's winning numbers are not yours, not yours, and another number that's not yours. And the final number is not yours.
When it comes to having money, don't rely on luck. Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering it. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Fred Core Weaver. You listen to Beyond Ringside.
Let me try.
Okay, just remember what I showed you.
Yep. There was a bunny who had one big ear and another big ear. They looped-a-looped, made a bow, and the bunny hopped away. I did it!
Oh, good job, kiddo. Now let's tie your other shoe.
The small.
The music plays, the microphones go hot, and we are back live on this Sunday night edition. 4 minutes before the top of the hour after regulation, and we're going into overdrive and overtime and sudden death. So we'll go ahead and just say, yes, the Iron Man match is over, and we're going into sudden death. Fast Eddie Lane, Mark Bowman, welcome back. Brooks Logan, welcome back. Wicked Nemesis, welcome back.
Yo.
And coming in as our good friend, Mr. O'Hagan, welcome back in, buddy. There you go. Now we've all said exactly what's on our mind. Phone lines are open, 205-316-9900 for a little while. We're going to go a little bit of overtime, have a little fun on this Sunday night edition. We are back on our regular Sunday night schedule. A couple of things I want to hit on real quick. We were making references during the interview to the television product of Global Championship Wrestling, and I'm not kissing ass in any capacity, but I had a chance...
Yeah, right.
Shut up, Brooks. I had a chance to watch last night's episode, this morning, Sunday morning, 1 a.m. on the CW. And, I kind of played it the way that I did as far as, everybody was supposed to be there. And, the New Year's Eve parties continue. But that segment was taped a little bit earlier in the week, and we all know this. I just want to say on a personal note, thank you to the front office of GCW for having the faith in me to run that segment the way that I did and letting everything go the way it did, and I appreciate it. I don't know, the television product is going in so many different directions, whether it be from myself and O'Hagan and myself and Howard Cross or Mad Dog and Boom Boom Tanner to doing the play-by-play and the color to all of the different personalities, including Bernie Kowanowitz coming in to do some of the segments as well. El Professor, we miss you, man. We hope everything's going well south of the borderline, wherever you may be right now. You are missed. But like I said, I watched this morning's episode and I realized that it's like, wow, they let me run the in-studio solo, and I'm flattered, I'm humbled, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. And like I said, I'm not kissing ass in any direction whatsoever. It's just, I do appreciate opportunities when they are presented to me. I've made the statement that O'Hagan and I have a blast working with O'Hagan doing the color and play-by-play. You're going to be on the show this coming Saturday night. Are we going to have a chance to sit down and do play-by-play and color again this weekend?
Well, yeah, if we want ratings to go up.
Let me guess, you and I equal ratings, right? Or at least one of us does.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and give you a compliment or anything, but we didn't lose too many viewers on your segment, all right?
Wait. Eddie was on the show last night?
On the television product, yes. I was actually hosting the entire way through.
Oh, man, I thought that was like Han Solo's out-of-shape uncle. I didn't know that was you.
You didn't know I was Han Solo's out-of-shape uncle?
I didn't know that.
Yes, I just have a bigger blaster.
Oh, yeah, too bad it misfires.
It just doesn't work. No, it doesn't work anymore. I saw where you were going. I knew it.
And he spends a lot of time at Star Wars conventions hanging out with Amos Moses because he looks like Chewbacca.
I thought for a minute you were going to say Thunder Horse.
I thought you were going to say Thunder Lips.
As long as you didn't. I was about to get shot. Oh, damn, I was about to say something. However.
No, if you were hanging out with Thunder Horse, people would think that you guys were half of what the village people.
Boo.
Eddie had his full leathers on.
Yeah, really. Genesis is coming up next week. Hard segue.
Sega.
Yeah, really. I have to ask a question. And coming back into the real world of professional wrestling, which we all enjoy, know, and love, whether it be on the local level or the televised level, Has there been one pay-per-view that has been given less possible push whatsoever for what used to be one of the banner pay-per-views for TNA Wrestling, Brooks?
What pay-per-view?
Exactly. Mabo?
Dude, that's pretty much been the majority of TNA's pay-per-views. Whether you agree or disagree, it's just like all the pay-per-views are bookends between poorly booked storylines or flip-flop, heel to face, face to heel, without any explanations or, just, comebacks for drug addicts or anything. So, I mean, I don't know what's happened to TNA. And, the only real build-up right now that we've got is the semi-build-up to the wild card tag thing. And then, let's see.
X Division?
I guess Jeff Hardy and Bobby Roode?
Well, like I said, I think, honestly, I think I said this earlier in the show. The best overall scenario that the fans can identify with is the X Division championship match coming up in the four-way.
Yeah, but I mean, that was mainly built around Zema Ion and
Aries.
No. Wait, who was it? Not
Nice.
Yeah, Nice, or the guy I like to call not Jesse Sorensen.
There you go.
I mean, what happened to Brian Kendrick? Anybody knows he disappeared? Just
I have no idea. Wicked Nemesis, have you read anything?
No, I don't watch TNA.
Okay. O'Hagan, have you seen anything?
Honestly, I don't watch TNA. I've stopped watching it when they changed into WCW.
Therein lies a question. Have they actually dropped lower than WCW did before the buyout? Yes or no, Wicked Nemesis, based on what you've seen?
They're lower. They're a lot lower because at least WCW had people that Vince wanted to sign. If TNA went under right now, there'd be maybe 5 people Vince would sign, maybe 5.
He would want to sign Sting, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Kurt Angle, possibly.
Yep, James Storm and Gunner. That'd be it.
Okay, let me ask a question straight up between me and you then. All 5 of us here know before there was Gunner, there was the Universal Soldier, Phil Shatter. Tremendous personality. I've worked with him on previous occasions. Great. In-ring, behind the scenes, tremendous individual. Look forward to the day where I might be able to work with him again. Inside or outside of TNA doesn't really matter to me. I just enjoy working with people I know that are quality in the ring and quality at a show. How well do you feel that someone like Gunner would work in the WWE scheme of things? I'll start with Brooks Logan.
Man, I don't know. That's hard to tell. That goes for anybody. Pretty much, it's not just not already a huge star to go to WWE, because we've seen so many guys that are great talents, great workers, have pulled money at other places, go to WWE and completely fail by no fault of their own half the time, because maybe they just didn't get the push they needed, didn't get the airtime, ring time that they deserved. So if Gunner was put in WWE and used properly, he would be a superstar, no doubt. But like I said, it goes back to how they use them. Like I said, they've had talented guys come in there, and you see them for a week or two, and then you don't see them again until you see where they got featured endeavored, and you never knew what happened to them. So, like I said, if he was properly used and properly pushed and put in the right positions, he would be a star, no doubt.
Mabo.
Honestly, if he excuse me, it's past my bedtime. If he kept that Mr. Intensity thing that he's starting to build in TNA, if he amped it up, I think he would definitely be a good fit, especially with the. See, I hate using the term youth movement because, some of those guys aren't that far behind in age from, Cena and a couple of the others. I mean, hell, I'm not that much older than John Cena, so I really hate to say youth movement, but I think that he would fit in great. Definitely would, fit. I think it'd fit well in the IC or the US.
division, given some time, maybe, give him about a good year of build, and then plug him into one of those. I think it'd fit perfectly, but like I said, he'd have to take that Mr. Intensity deal that he's going with now and just and crank it up a couple notches.
O'Hagan.
The biggest hurdle any guy is going to have in TNA ever going to WWE is the fact that when you're traveling the world on the indie scene, and when you're working at TNA, there's so much focus on being the best wrestler and putting on the best wrestling matches. What they don't understand is once they get into the WWE, it's a bigger picture. You're not just going out there putting on matches. You're cutting promos. You're putting butts in seats. And Nemesis can tell you firsthand, you can have a guy who can wrestle circles around anybody, but he can't talk, he can't perform, he can't tell a story, he can't do anything. It's the same. You can see that anywhere across the U.S. Daniel Bryan's biggest hurdle since he's been to WWE, great wrestler, but how many people do you have to see posting all over the internet? They're his biggest fans, and now he's on WWE. They're the same people saying his matches are boring. His matches are boring. I mean, they have to evolve from one platform to the other. And if they can't evolve, that's when they get lost in the shuffle and get future endeavored. So these guys are just going to have to step up, evolve, be the total performer, not just wrestler. And that's what it's come to, and that's what all of them are going to have problems with.
Okay, Wicked Nemesis, your perspective.
Well, somebody that worked for almost a year straight with Phil Shatter, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what it is. Blair hit on it. I'm sorry, O'Hagan hit on it. The difference between Phil Shatter and Gunner is there's one difference, one specific difference. Jeff G. Bailey. Okay. Phil Shatter is the same thing that happens with Orion Bishop. A big guy that can wrestle, that could not cut a decent promo to save his freaking life. You can't teach size. And to some people, you can't teach the gift of gab. That's where somebody like myself and Jeff G. Bailey comes in. Everything that Phil Shatter did, Jeff G. Bailey was behind. It takes pressure off Shatter having to come up with something, going from place to place when he can think of, man, I should have done this move better, that move better, instead of having to worry about, well, I should have said this when I said this, and I should have done this move when I did this move. No. Shut up and give him a mouthpiece. WWE is not going to do that. That's the one thing that's lacking in his character right now in TNA. You give Shatter, Gunner, whatever, a mouthpiece. Give him somebody as myself, same thing with Matt Morgan. They shouldn't have to speak. All they have to do is worry about wrestling, worry about the in-the-ring stuff, worry about that part, and let somebody like me worry about the rest. And I promise you, he will be ready, but they're not going to do it. And when they go to WWE, they completely erase your mind, because there's the WWE type of way. We all know this.
Yep. Tell you what, I'm looking at the clock, and I also caught the hint from Mabel a minute ago. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and go 3 good minutes all the way around the board, and what I'm going to do is last call. Any topic, any idea that you'd like to run with? Gentlemen, we all have 3 minutes apiece. Wicked Nemesis, I'll start with you.
All right, thanks. Well, as everybody should already know that follows me on Twitter.
It's not shameless plugs.
January 7th, Alabama Championship Wrestling, Carbon Hill. I will be there with Johnny Slaughter. Of course, as most of us know, or as most people know us, the Merchants of Death, the MOD. We will be destroying lives and changing lives in 2012. Also, January 13th, Alabama Wrestling Alliance. AWA returns to Mumford 65 Mitchell Street. I will be there, of course, writing review for Beyond Ringside and for PW 24/7 and Shoot Finished. Now, I will be interviewing fans. I will be taking pictures. I will be writing. I will do everything. This time I'll actually sign autographs. As everybody that comes there knows, I haven't signed autographs. I will be this time. I was told that I should. I thought it might take away from the matches, but obviously everybody wants me to. So
even if it's during the main event.
So I will be signing, and I will ask everybody's opinion. See how everybody's doing. We'll be talking to the fans. We'll be interviewing the fans. Give them a decent experience. Once again, like I said, that is a Friday. So Friday, the 13th of January, Montford, Alabama, AWA. January 7th, ACW, Alabama Championship Wrestling, Carbon Hill. Now, this is breaking news. A lot of people know this. A lot of people don't. But January 21st, we said something earlier about Tasha Simone winning back the NWA Women's World Championship from Tiffany Rock in a steel cage match. January 21st, write it down. January 21st, Lebanon, Tennessee. The NWA Women's icon herself, the NWA Women's World Champion. You know what that means? World Champion. That means that she defends it. That means anybody from the world can come in, and that means she is a defending champion, a world champion, against Calm Like a Bomb Pandora.
Very nice.
For the NWA Women's World Championship. This is what, as a manager, we've all gotten into the business for.
Yep.
The NWA Women's World Championship will be defended January 21st, Lebanon, Tennessee. NWA Top Rope. Tasha Simone against Calm Like a Bomb Pandora, self in her corner. You heard it right.
Yep.
And not only that, in February, when we win that title on January 21st, February, ACW, Calm Like a Bomb Pandora will defend that title against Aisha Sunshine. Go ahead and mark it down. When Calm Like a Bomb wins that title, she will defend that women's world title at Alabama Championship Wrestling. I'm telling you, Tasha, you've done great things for this business. But the greatest wrestler of this generation, the greatest women's wrestler of this generation, Calm Like a Bomb Pandora, is taking that title home, taking it back to the top. And we will gladly defend that title against anyone. January 21st, Lebanon, Tennessee. January 13th, Montford, Alabama. January 7th, Carbon Hill. And for any wrestler out there that wants to be a part of Alabama Championship Wrestling, do not hesitate. Make sure you have footage, because if you do not have footage, that is worth a crap, do not contact me. ENOCH@thewickednemesis.com. I don't give a crap what outlaw promotion you work for. I don't care who you've wrestled. If you cannot give me good footage, don't worry about it. As Blair said, it's time for wrestling in Alabama to step up.
Yep.
What better way to do it than to start by going out and making a better name for yourself? You worry about yourself and the rest will fall into place. Enoch, ENOCH@thewickednemesis.com. Go out and support your local independent wrestling, because it's out there.
It is.
Blur has shows coming up. I have shows coming up, and I guarantee you this. Somebody listening to this show right now has even more shows coming up. There's a show right now. The future of this business is in your backyard.
So to speak.
Remember that.
It's in your hometown, not necessarily your backyard. I had to say that. Brooks Logan, 3 good minutes. What's your topic?
Well, I've not been known to go 3 good minutes.
That's what she said.
That's exactly my point, Eddie.
That sounds like Mabo's first time.
But my first time was no different than my 500th time. But
how's your credit card?
I don't know. I use your number, so.
Hey.
No, really. I don't have much. I think it's been covered. Other than what Wick said with the shows coming up, which the Montford show I think I'm going to try to be in attendance for, so hopefully get to catch Wick there. But, no, Eddie, you gave us a teaser, and you had a big announcement coming up. Is that what you're about to pull?
In just a few minutes, I'll go ahead and I'm like I said, I'm batting cleanup in this one.
Okay, anticipation is killing me. I'm sorry. No, I really don't have much, man. So if you want to throw it to Mabo or Blair or whoever.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say, Mr. O'Hagan, if there's a topic you'd like to hit, 3 good minutes. Mabo, you're on deck.
I'm gonna add on to something Nemesis said. You know, when you go into any promotion, it doesn't matter what state, what territory, what you're going to. If you got to take footage, but please, for the love of all things, of the God of wrestling, don't bring a highlight reel of you in the ring, because anybody can look good. If you have 20 little matches, you're like, oh, well, I didn't mess up this time, I'll put that on the tape. Anybody can look good in a highlight reel. You bring a match, a whole match, from you coming out of the curtain to you going back in that curtain, and then you let your work speak for itself. And if you don't have that kind of match that you can go up and do and be proud of and say, this is me, then please work on it, because we are bringing up Alabama wrestling, and we are stepping up, and we're trying to raise the bar. You know, we're trying to take this to a whole new level. And when people come up in here, and it's not against promoters, it's not against bookers, you know, because David talks about, I've been working for 20 years. Yeah, but you've had 4 matches in 20 years, so that doesn't really count. You know, bring it up yourself. Worry about yourself. Everything else will follow. But, you know, be truthful, be honest. You know, if you need work, tell somebody, hey, I need work. Help me. You know, don't be too prideful or too boastful that you're going to sit there and, you know, bring a show down because you think that you can step up with it. Don't make a show look bad. Don't make a promotion look bad. Don't make anybody look bad just because this is something you want to do. Be the best you can be because you love the business. Make this business better. You know, don't bring everybody else down because you don't want to, you know, better yourself in your craft. I do have a couple of shows coming up. I got Palmerdale, I got Jasper, I got Pell City, I got Northport, I got Stockbridge, I got Macon. You want to know about it, go to gcwpro.com. That's all I'm going to say about it. Because you know what? I'm going to let my actions speak for themselves. I'm going to get in the ring. I'm going to do what I do best. And then afterwards, I'm going to dance a little jig as I raise my hand and walk to that curtain, get ready to go do it all over again. So I'm going to pass this over to the man who loves mayo, Mabo.
It's you. Go ahead, man.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, that was a good toss. That was a good toss. I'm good with it.
Well, no, I've got like 5 or 6 clothespins like around my nose and on my face for no reason.
What's wrong with this kid?
God.
Okay, 3 good minutes on a topic.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously we all know tomorrow night is the whole January 2nd, 2012 spiel that WWE's been spitting out. Everybody's like, oh, it's Jericho, oh, it's Undertaker. I'm even saying maybe possibly, since he lost to Alistair Overeem, maybe it's Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
It's the Hockey Talk Man. Do you guys have like, it could be the Hockey Talk Man. God, I hope so. Do you guys have personal opinions on who it might be? Or maybe some insight?
Lesnar.
I was thinking about that same subject earlier. I just forgot to bring it up. I'm glad you brought it up. I keep hearing the same names, Jericho, Undertaker, being the main ones, but Jericho, from what I understand, he said he's completely finished with the business. I don't know how true that is. I sincerely hope it's not him. Not because I don't think the guy can wrestle, but you know, this will be the 2nd or 3rd time he's had this big build-up to a comeback, if it was to be him. And he has these great big comebacks, and everybody's excited that he's back. And 3 months later, he's back to being mediocre, and then 3 months after that, he's gone. So, if you know, I don't know who. I don't really have an idea who it is, but I'll be definitely tuning in tomorrow to see who it is.
I'll say this. I think it could be Lesnar, because if you watch the little promos, there's a little girl in the video and it keeps mentioning like, you know, she's ready for it. Or she makes these comments about like how the girl is pushing him. And I can't remember a time that I remember Jericho really being teamed with a female, aside from the little stint they did with, you know, Stephanie McMahon. But when Brock retired, he did say that his wife was ready for him to retire from MMA. So she was maybe pushing for him to go to something that wasn't, you know, going to get him killed or anything. So there's a good chance that him and his wife could come out and she forced him out of MMA to go back to, you know, the E.
Mabo?
Well, I mean, I'm like I said, I mean, until I heard the other day, you know, that the next morning when Brock, you know, had said that he was retiring, I was either going Jericho or Taker. But you know, when I heard the other morning that Brock immediately retired after his match when he lost, I was like, well, there's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. But
Dana White has been meeting with Vince McMahon.
Yep.
That brings up something that I thought about. You know, these promos have been going on for a while, and this, if it turned out to be Brock Lesnar, I would lose all faith in mixed martial arts and UFC. I've always heard people talk about it. You know, that's a bigger work than wrestling is. And if Brock Lesnar comes out tomorrow, I will have lost all faith in that, just because of how long the promos have been running. And you know, Brock said, and with the way Brock Lesnar looked in that fight was absolutely pathetic. And if this has been something that's been planned on happening, because Brock said, if I would have won, I would have went and fought for the championship. So I don't know. I will be very disappointed in UFC if it was Brock Lesnar to come out tomorrow.
And let me jump.
Well, he did say that he would retire after, even if he won the title. He said he would retire. It would be very easy if he's like, I'll be retiring in like 4 months. Let me, you know, I can come back on air, cut some promos, build up hype, do some beat downs, not actually do a match, go fight my last fight, and then I'll be ready to go. But now that he lost, he's like, well, I can go back full steam now. It'd be real easy for him to do that.
Let me ask a question. There was a match, I want to say it was Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and they were both in the final stage of their contract with the E at that particular point in time, and I believe it was on
referee, and it was on it was a WrestleMania.
It was a WrestleMania match, and it was voted one of the 50 worst matches in human history by most people who have a clue. Have we forgotten about this?
Stanton Goldberg. You're talking about a crowd in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 20. The crowd that saw Chris Benoit win his first heavyweight title ever, and then start chanting Goldberg at the end of it because Lesnar was a douchebag at the very beginning of the match. He starts antagonizing the fan, and they start, don't come back and things like that. And he just looks at them and flips them off, and he said, no. Everybody knew that he was leaving. Brock Lesnar could have been the greatest wrestler of all time, but he is a mental midget. That's all he is, a mental midget. He has the brain capacity of a 9-year-old. He thinks if it's not all about him, then it doesn't matter. That's how it goes. That's the God honest truth. Look at everything he does. Vince McMahon bought this man a private jet.
Yep.
Because, I don't want to go here. I don't want to go there. I want to do his special. This person, that person makes me mad. The man bought him a private jet, and he still acted like a prima donna and a diva. Yep. I think personally it's going to be Chris Jericho coming back, just because of some of the things that the girl says are lyrics from Fozzy songs.
Very good.
And anybody not ever learned, a heel lies. That's what they do. Anybody that believes a heel, you guys are mediocre. I mean, never believe a bad guy.
Well, I mean, he actually said that, the last time he was scheduled for his comeback, and he told everybody, like, I'm not going to be at Raw that night. I'm going to be in Hawaii or something. And then he shows up, and he literally got on Twitter as soon as he got off stage. He said, I'm a heel. I lie. Ha-ha.
Yeah.
So, well, didn't he also post a thing right before he came back to WWE, a big thing of TNA with his name on it, just to make people think he was going to go to TNA?
Yep. You rapping, Mabo?
No, I'm not lyrically good enough to do that.
Are you good, or was there anything else you wanted to hit?
Yeah, there's several ladies I'd like to hit, but that's neither here nor there anyway.
Topic
so why don't you
still
just go ahead and make your announcement there, Puddin' Pop.
Okay, Dreamsicle. Now I'm getting that echo really bad, too.
Therein lies the question.
Yes. Number one, And let me see something. No, I can't see who's getting the echo right now. So we'll work it like this. Number one, for our initial foray back here on Beyond Ringside, I made the conscious decision to take everything back to our home state of Alabama level, because there is a message that I want to put out there, and it's jumping on what Wicked Nemesis said on his final comment. There is some tremendous action that you can find in your hometown, in your home state. It doesn't matter if you live in Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Alaska, Georgia, Florida, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. I'll run all 50 states if I have to. It can be in Australia, it can be in Japan, it can be in Germany, it can be in Puerto Rico. Thank you, Dutch Mantel with 2 L's. The trick to it is you have to get out there and look for it. Case point scenario. This coming Saturday night, January the 7th, there are 2 great shows that are going to be taking place in 2 different parts of the state of Alabama. Alabama Championship Wrestling, you can see the graphic on the screen, will be in Carbon Hill, Alabama. Global Championship Wrestling will be in another part of the state in Palmerdale, Alabama at 7:30 p.m. 2 good promotions, 2 good shows, great lineups on both cards. For the fans in the northwestern part of the state or in the western part of Alabama, if you're within an hour of Carbon Hill, trust me, you're going to have fun at ACW. For the fans in the eastern part of the state, northeastern and east central Alabama, if you're within an hour of Palmerdale, you're going to have a great time at GCW. I guarantee you both shows are going to be good and worth the money. We are going to get back, to basics here on Beyond Ringside to a great degree. Wednesday, January the 11th, the Alabama Athletic Commission will be meeting. I have been told that it will be a quorum of all 5 council members that will be there, all 5 commission members. After the fiasco that happened in the month of December, at the last meeting when only 2 commissioners were present. That didn't set well with a crap ton of people, myself included, and more so than that, it didn't set well with the governor of the state of Alabama. So the governor of the state pretty much said, I want everybody there. Well, Beyond Ringside will be represented at the Alabama Athletic Commission meeting on Wednesday, January the 11th. I will personally be there to watch the proceedings, and I will have a full report the following Sunday here on BR. I want to thank Christy Wood Isbell for all the information she's been sending our way. I want to thank Vicki Jackson for all the information that she's been sending our way. Adam Gibbs with Sport Fight X, Tom Stedham, all been sending me great information about the Athletic Commission, even though Stedham's now down in Florida. Good luck on the acting and the fighting career. Always good to hear from you, Tom. But we will be represented at the AAC meeting, the Alabama Athletic Commission. And we will be watching to see what happens. There are some tremendous strides being made in the worlds of mixed martial arts, professional wrestling, prize fighting, all of the above, even the Ladies Lingerie Football League. God, I still love that show. But I want to go ahead and give this one out there. We may be back to our roots for this particular episode, but we're going back, and we're going back worldwide in more ways than one. Had a great conversation with Tasha Simone earlier this week. She'll be rejoining us here on Beyond Ringside in the next couple of weeks, possibly next week. Keep your eyes open on the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live, because I've got a major announcement coming up pertaining to next Sunday's show. I cannot pop that announcement right now because I don't have a total confirmation on it. However, announcements that I can make. Number 1, Angel Clark, good friend of ours with Distant Thunder Radio. Her health is improving. Our prayers and thoughts are still with you. Hope you and the family have been having a good Christmas season, holiday season. Beyond Ringside will be simulcast starting in the next few weeks, not only on the BRRN, but we're also working to be brought back live on Distant Thunder Radio. I also had a great conversation earlier this week with Stan Grubb as a representative from PW 24/7 Radio. Beyond Ringside will be also simulcast on PW 24/7. I've had some conversations with some program directors around the country. Beyond Ringside will be coming to terrestrial radio starting in the month of February. We are going into syndication and simulcast and tape delayed broadcast. We're going to have some fun. Your home for wrestling sports talk, MMA sports talk, and a hell of a lot more goes worldwide in 2012. We are now officially opening up spots, as the best of Beyond Ringside will be returning in the month of February on a 24/7 replay basis. I will also be adding in content from other shows. Not just here at Beyond Ringside. There will be other shows featured. Those talks are going to start taking place in about 6 minutes and 35 seconds. That's a hint, Wick. So it's going to get even bigger. It's going to get even better. And we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun. PW 24/7, Distant Thunder Radio, Beyond Ringside, the family comes together in 2012. It may be the end of the world as we know it, but you know something? I feel fine. Let's take it home. Shameless plugs, real quick. Wicked Nemesis.
You might have wickednemesis.com for bookings, for sensitive for ACW bookings. Also, as I said, January 7th, ACW Carbon Hill. January 3rd,